I go for speed. Ontario is in the. I don't leave. When is yours? Yeah. Yeah, well, I haven't.
Find a chair or family members in the house.
I was calling with. I'm gonna do my septic one. Yeah. Yes. So. That was good.
All right, so Deputy Lord, they tell me today is Thursday. It feels like a Wednesday though. But at least, I missed the rain a little bit. All right, everyone, I'm going to call the docket. When I call the docket, you need to stand up and let me know you are here. If you don't answer the docket, I'm going to assume you're not here and a warrant may be issued for your arrest. I already recognize Mr. Peterson. You're always on time and you always dress appropriately for court. Thank you. David Vietti. All right. How do you pronounce your last name? Vietti. That's how you pronounce it. All right. Thank you. In custody, we have Jose Perez, Francisco Aguilar. Good morning. Adrian Soto. Thank you. Thanks for dressing appropriately. Everybody is dressed appropriately for court today. I hope I haven't jinxed us by saying that.
Thank you.
All right. Adrian Xavier Soto. Is that the same Adrian Soto? Is that the same person? All right. Thank you. In custody, we have Christopher Garza, Efron Soto, Efron Martinez-Soto. Jessica Medina.
We're ready for that, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Juan Lozano.
President, Your Honor, ready.
All right, thank you. In custody, we have Mary Inaosa, Jonathan Nicholas.
Here.
Thank you. Lisa Quintanilla. Good morning. In custody, we have Jacob Flores. Thank you. Eliseo Perez Rodriguez. Ernest Dominguez Martinez. Thank you. Angel Gonzalez is in custody. Michael Herrera. Thank you. In custody, we have Eduardo Reyes. Juan Tehran.
Here, Your Honor. Council President.
Thank you. Wayne Toliver. Good morning. Doesn't it just make the day start off better when people say good morning? How can you be, unhappy when people say good morning? All right, Tanisha Olison, if you're here, your case has been reset by your attorney for April 4th. Gregorio Cantu is in custody. William Chapman. Good morning. Anita Herrera is in custody. Victor Garcia, custody. Pedro Alonso. Good morning. Hannah Smith is in custody. Theta Reyes, custody. Anybody want to help me with this name? Amoa? Thank you. How do you pronounce your name? All right, and your first name? Okay, I cannot hear. What did you say? All right, let me put on my glasses. I hear better with my glasses because I can see you. All right, people who wear glasses understand what I'm saying. Okay, how do you pronounce your first name? All right, thank you. In custody, we have Virgilio Balsadua, Sergio Olvera.
Oh, he's on his way, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Denver Stewart. Good morning. In custody, we have Christopher Davis, Daniel Maris Medina,
Here.
Joe Gonzalez, custody, Roland Orta. Roland Orta.
Mr. President, with counsel, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Rihanna Macias, if you're here, your case was requested to be reset. It's being recalled for April 17th. In custody, we have Thilda Thanasuk, Isaac Lopez, Annabelle Bishop. Isaiah Verjou. Thank you. Robert Hitnick.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good morning. William McGuffey. Okay. Gabriel Inahosa. And then for compliance hearings, we have Terrence Scott. And I think these will be at 11. Gilbert Rodriguez, Claudia Angel Navarro, Genevieve Pintor. Jalen Collins is in custody. Luis Silva. Good morning. Edgar Alcantar Salazar. Good morning. Kevin Newtonfeld. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Kevin Newtonfeld. And Santuan Wilson, that is at 1:30. All right, is there anyone who came in late or your name was not called? Who came in late or your name was not called? What's your name? All right, so I'll need you on the first row. Anyone else who came in late or your name was not called? All right, everyone, today is starting out great. Everybody's saying good morning. Everybody's happy. Everybody's being kind. Everybody has patience in their pocket. So because I've been a defense attorney and a prosecutor, I know sometimes we don't hear. Sometimes we don't read. We just scroll through documents. So everyone, please listen to my instructions. And this is for the benefit of the court reporter, because I like to make everybody's job as easy as possible if I can. If we are on the record, and the way the court reporter knows I'm on the record, the way you'll know I'm on the record and not just talking to attorneys, is I'll call the style of the case. When I do that, if you're in the box and you're behind the court reporter and you're talking to your client, please stop talking. If you ask the deputy will allow you to move your client to the end away from the court reporter, and you can still talk to them if you whisper. The other thing, I try to keep the middle of the court as least congested as possible. So you'll see files. The files that I'm pointing to over here are for criminal trial division. The files I'm pointing over here are for family violence. So if you'll grab your file, and when you grab your file, if you'll put it on the prosecutor's desk and have a seat, they will call you. First person who gets their file there will be the first case that they call. When you want to approach the court, only approach the court after you confer with the state and confer with your client. If your client is in custody, you request that he be brought up by the deputy. As you can see, we have a lot of people here who are in custody. Please do not leave until we take care of your case, because they can only bring out so many inmates. And if you leave with your inmate in the box, then that's another attorney who has to wait for their inmate to be brought out. And what will end up happening is the deputy will send your client back, and we'll bring them out when we can. If you have a client and English is not their native language and they wish for an interpreter, even if you speak their language, even if I speak their language, we still need an interpreter. Once you request an interpreter, please do not leave, because there's a shortage of interpreters and they only like to really stay here for like 5 or 10 minutes at top. All right. So today is going to be a great day. I feel it in my bones. Put some patience in your pocket, take it out as needed. As I always say, guys, I know you have an extra pocket in your suit coat. I don't know what that internal pocket is for, but I'm just going to say it's for patience. Pull it out and share it. And everybody, let's be kind. It's Wednesday. We're in the middle of the week. All right, please confer.
Thursday.
Oh, it's Thursday. Wow. See, I was giving you guys an extra day, but guess what? We're closer to Friday than we were yesterday. It's awesome. Just one moment. Can you mute us for 1 second? Caroline. Sorry about that. That's mom things. Ah, and I love your tie.
May I approach?
Yes.
Judge, I had a file there. I had set a motion to set bond because they're not in for forfeiture. You had
Okay.
asked me to bring him in. He's here.
Okay.
I'm not sure that's something that you want to take up now.
Well, let me ask, do you want to confer with the state?
I have to. We agreed on a bond for 3,000.
Okay. And what's going to end up happening with this case?
Judge, I would like to, I just got hired on it, so
Okay.
I haven't really looked at discovery. But if ultimately what I would like to do is I'd like to just take him to satellite. Once he's bonded out, I'll meet with him, go over the discovery and see if we can work something out, Judge.
All right. So if you can see, have the state, write what your agreement is.
Okay.
And then also, I'm going to give you a reset date for this case. Yeah. You'll have to talk to the deputies. Yes, Deputy Laura, can you talk to Deputy Laura and tell her what the issue is with your client and that a bond is going to be set? Yes, we have flashing lights. I know those. No, it's not that, it's not just you. But Caroline, if we pretend it's just her, she's gonna think this is a weird dream or something. We should do that. What flashing lights? Deputy Laura, there are no flashing lights. What flashing lights? And then we're in the middle of a horror show or something. Diana? No, I don't think anybody's going to talk behind you today. I think they're not. I don't think they're going to do it. I have faith. Oh, that's right. You didn't get picked up. Oh, so what is the temperature in here today, guys?
72 point something.
Okay. Okay.
And 62% humidity.
Oh my, why is there so much humidity in the courthouse?
Yeah.
Is he out?
We're bringing them up.
Okay. Good morning.
Oh, anyone who's ready, just approach the clerk and have her pull the file and I'll call you in order of appearance. Caroline, do you know why this had been sent to the voucher committee? I don't know why, because it was a flat fee. Okay. Yeah. Oh, no problem.
Back on my time. Well, I mean, here. This is the one that they're arguing. No, I know, but John, what's the one? The rest of it? I know. Yeah. No, I'm gonna tell her that I'm ready, but I think she knows.
All right. Is the attorney who was here on the off docket? Yes.
Judge, Mr. Escobar is still in the hallway, but our agreement via email was 3,000. He didn't, I just don't have anything. It's okay.
Oh, no, did you need the state to sign on it,
Yes. Okay,
that they're in agreement?
okay. On the order?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh,
Just waiting on him, Judge. He's in the hallway.
oh, who was it?
Mr. Escobar.
Okay.
No, that's what he's. Yes.
Who's here on Jessica Medina? All right.
Waiting for January.
And where's Miss Medina? All right, Miss Medina, if you'll come forward.
Essential participate for that soon.
All right. Good morning. Thanks for dressing appropriately for court.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Court is calling 2022 CR 3186, State of Texas versus Jessica Medina. I believe this is Criminal Trial Division. All right, could I have the parties announced for the record for the state
Jason Jorgens for the state.
defense?
Arnulfo Ortiz for Jessica Medina.
And are you Miss Medina? All right, we're here for sentencing. You entered a plea on January 24th. This to aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. The state waived enhancement allegation. Fine is set at $1,500. The state recommends deferred adjudication. And there's to be restitution to Candace Trevino. And then there are several items that are outside your agreement. Have both parties received the PSI report?
Yes, Your Honor.
We had.
All right, any objections to the PSI report,
No
state
objection.
defense?
Not from the state.
All right. Any witnesses, defense,
No, Your Honor.
state?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Medina, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand. Can you tell the court where will you be living?
In the same house I've been living at for almost 1 and 4 years. It's on Monterey Street.
All right, does anyone live there with you?
Yes, my wife,
Who lives there with you?
my spouse.
All right, do you have any children?
No.
Do any children live in the household with you?
No.
All right. There is an issue with drugs, according to the top evaluation that I have. If you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be?
I will come under
All right, so for what?
for marijuana.
You know, while you're on probation, you're not allowed to use marijuana,
Yes, ma'am.
and you know you're not allowed to drink alcohol.
Yes,
Okay. And are you employed?
yes. I currently got a part-time job.
All right, what do you do?
It's at a, how do you call it, botanica? What do you call it?
A drugstore, herbs.
Yeah, it's like an herb store. They sell like candles and a bunch of
CBD oils,
stuff like that.
CBD oils, or any of that?
No, they don't deal with any
Okay.
of that. No, they don't deal with any of that.
All right. All right, any other questions for either side?
No, Your Honor.
Not from the state.
All right. This is what the court is going to do. I will follow your agreement. And I'm sorry, one other thing, with regards to restitution. According to the TAP evaluation, the court didn't receive anything in the TAP evaluation that says that the amount of restitution. Does anyone know?
There was no hospitalization. These two ladies pulled each other's hair. And so I don't know that there would be any restitution, but if there is,
Okay.
I don't have any confirmed amount, Judge.
All right, the only thing I have in the TAP evaluation is a statement from the complainant saying she wants to be done with this and she doesn't want to give any statements. Okay, I'm gonna order no contact with her. Do you understand?
Totally understand.
All right, the court is gonna sentence you then to $1,500 fine. That will be probated. Oh, and state if you need to confer, you can
Thank
continue.
you, Judge.
You're welcome. That will be probated. 7 years deferred adjudication. No contact. And restitution, if any, to Candace, Candice Trevino. And counsel, if there is a restitution amount that is ultimately given and there's an objection of the restitution amount, just let the court know and we can have a hearing on that.
yes, Your Honor.
There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. Proof of employment within 15 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. I'm going to want regular UAs and probation. I'm going to want her tested for levels. Those levels for marijuana use needs to start going down. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
They're recommending intensive outpatient treatment. I'm going to start with 90 sober meetings in 90 days. I'm going to want supportive outpatient treatment. I'm going to want anger management. 150 hours of community service restitution. 40 of those hours will be waived if you provide proof of the COVID vaccination with a booster. The court is not requiring you to do that, but if you've done it, then you can turn that into probation and they'll deduct 40 hours from your community service restitution. I'm going to want field visits. One time per month for 3 months probation. If after 3 months probation thinks field visits are no longer needed, then you can discontinue that. If you wish to have the field visits count for her reporting, you can use that as well. All right, probation, is there anything else she needs?
No.
All right. Is there anything else that you need from the court to be successful?
I would appreciate some counseling if there is
All right, what type of counseling?
someone to talk to, if someone will see.
All right. And also we'll do a mental health evaluation, a mental evaluation for the mid caseload. And also if there's needed to be a referral for Center for Healthcare Services, if needed. And they'll explain to you what that is. Is there anything else you need? All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you
Yes.
understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement. And I'm sorry, there's one other thing. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, I'll go around.
Oh, I will,
Why do people try to walk through that?
because it seems like you
You can reach it. It seems like you can reach it. All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, if there's, in this court, communication is key. If there's ever an issue that you have, let probation know. If you feel like probation isn't addressing it, just come to court. We're here Monday through Friday and I will find out what's going on, okay?
All right.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Have a good one.
Your Honor, I volunteer to do a restraining order if you need one.
Okay. Thank you. Yes,
Judge, I got the
okay.
order signed.
All right. And then Ms. Ferguson, I need a 30-day reset on Jesus Alexis Reyes Arizola. It's 2022 CR 12004.
You said 30 days.
Yes.
I can do, April 18th.
No issue.
All right. It'll be April 18th. And Ms. Ferguson, can you write out a reset form?
Judge, did you say one weekend?
Yeah, he needs to come forward. All right, Mr. Arizola. All right. Have some questions for you because your attorney is asking me to set a bond for you. Do you have any drug issues?
No.
Here's the thing, you need to be honest with me.
Yeah.
If you were drug tested today, what would the result be?
30,
All right, for what?
marijuana,
And what else?
um,
Here's the thing, just be honest with me and tell me everything because I'm in charge of setting conditions of bond to help you so that one, you'll show up to court on time.
yes, ma'am.
Two, that you'll show up on the day that you're supposed to be here.
ma'am.
And three, that there are any issues that you're rehabilitated with those issues. And all the conditions that I set will most likely help you with however this case ends up turning out. All right, so,
Cocaine.
all right, so how often are you using?
Last time I used it was about 2 weeks ago.
All right, see, if you're gonna be positive for cocaine, it's more than 2 weeks ago.
So,
So again, you need to be honest with me because I have to set conditions for you. I'm not sending you to prison today. That's not my job. What I'm being asked to do today is set a bond for you. Okay? So how often are you using?
I don't use them now, but as I said, about 2 weeks ago was the last time I used them.
If you tested it.
Mm. No,
Mhm. All right, do you have any children?
yes, ma'am, I do.
What are their ages?
2 and 3.
And do they live with you?
They live in Oklahoma.
Okay. All right, any mental health issues?
No, ma'am.
All right, ever been diagnosed with anything?
No, ma'am.
All right, so I'm gonna set the bond at $3,000, counsel,
Thank you.
but I'm gonna order supportive outpatient treatment for him.
Sure.
And I'm gonna order sober meetings.
Fine, please.
And I'll do random UAs. And I'll waive the fees.
Judge, you know, I'll tell the client to, or ask that the levels be tested so that it's coming down.
All right, thank you. And sober meeting. And for sober meetings, I'm gonna put you down for 2 times per week, okay? Now, if you need more than 2 times per week, you can just do 2 times, more than 2 times per week. It's not going to make you look bad. Everybody needs to figure out how many meetings they need to remain clean and sober, okay? All right, and counsel, have you let Deputy Laura know?
I have not, Judge, because I want him.
All right, you need to, can you mute us, please? Juan Lozano. All right, the court is going to call 2022 CR 10786, State of Texas versus Juan Rogelio Lozano. I have parties announced for the record for the state
Daniel Escobar for the state of Texas.
defense.
Robert Brobach.
And are you Mr. Lozano?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you entered a plea of no contest on January 26th. According to the plea bargaining agreement, state is recommending community supervision. They are opposing their application for deferred adjudication. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report?
Yes, ma'am, we have. Yes, Judge.
Any objections to the PSI report, state?
No, Your Honor.
Any objections to this?
No objection.
Any witnesses, state or defense?
No witnesses for the state, Judge.
No witnesses, Your Honor.
All right, so let's start with state. You're opposing the defendant's application for deferred adjudication. That's the reason.
Yes, Judge, it's the facts of the case. During the course of what the defendant did was he went to a home and he fired several shots into the home. There were 3 people that were in that home at the time. None of the bullets hit those people, but still.
Excuse me. We're on the record. We're on the record. I made an announcement. We're on the record. I'm talking behind the court reporter. If you want to, you can ask the deputy. The deputy will move. Then your client to the other end.
It's just due to the nature of the offense, Judge. It's the fact that he did fire several shots. He was found shortly thereafter. It's just, we do take these matters extremely seriously.
Defense.
Judge, he's 17. He has no criminal history, no criminal history as an adult. He's on going to school online. There was no injuries, no damage to the house. He made a mistake, but he has good support from his family. His mother is here with him. And he stays with her. I think he'll do well on deferred. I just don't want him to just get a final conviction on his record if he serves it successfully.
And Judge, according to the police report, several shots did hit the home. It did burst several windows. People had to hit the deck.
All right, children, raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear to affirm the testimony there will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand. Why are you wearing a mask?
Oh, just.
Take it off.
All right, state your name for the record.
Juan Lozano,
How old are you?
20.
All right, during this incident, were you living with your mom?
Yes, ma'am.
Why are you shooting at a house?
Well, basically they jumped my brother and took all his money and everything.
So whatever happened, you're picking up the phone call with the police.
I was just in like a bad time.
What does that mean you were having a bad time?
I was mad, angry.
So did you tell your mother this?
No, man.
So why are you and your brother keeping secrets from your parents?
I'm not sure.
I mean, we're not pretty sure. Your attorney says this was a mistake, but you know what I say about mistakes? It's not a mistake. You made a bad choice.
Yes, ma'am.
So the question becomes, why are you making bad choices?
I wasn't in the right mindset.
How old is your brother?
26.
So you, who is younger than your 20-year-old brother, decides to go shoot at a house because somebody may have jumped your brother and taken his money, but the 26-year-old does nothing.
Yes, ma'am.
That makes no sense to me. So what did your brother do?
Nothing.
Did he call the police?
No, ma'am.
So why do you feel it's your place to go shoot at a house?
I was just trying to help him.
I don't understand that. How far did you go in school?
12th grade,
When you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be? You are getting drug tested today.
clean,
All right, when's the last time you used?
about 4 weeks ago.
And what are you using?
Marijuana,
What else?
that's it.
Why are you using marijuana, shooting at houses and not graduating from high school?
I was about to graduate, but all this happened.
All right, stage two, any questions?
No.
That's any questions?
No, you, no.
And Mr. Lozano, according to this, the complainant doesn't know why he shot in her house.
Mm.
So is it a bunch of parents just letting their children run wild and do whatever they want to do? Because she's in her house with her child. And you shoot at her. Do you know how old her child was?
No, man.
And what is this about your overdose or attempted to overdose? What's that about?
I tried to commit suicide.
All right, why was that?
I was in a hard time, just tired of myself and everything. What's going
Right.
on?
Were you ever treated for that?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever seen a doctor?
No, ma'am.
Is there a reason for that?
No, ma'am.
Right, any other questions?
No, ma'am.
No, Judge. No, Judge.
You want to call this mother?
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand. State your name for the record.
Margarita Balboa,
Can you spell the last name?
Balboa.
So is Juan Lozano your son?
Yes, ma'am.
What are his issues?
He has mental issues, ma'am. He actually has his caseworker here. He sees a counselor, he sees a therapist. He's getting his medication. He has to get it through shot form because of the incident with the pills that he tried to with the community of trying to commit suicide. So they do him as a shot form. So he's not allowed to have any medications in the home or anything. But yes, he is seeing counseling. He is diagnosed with mental issues. He's bipolar. He has, and like I said, his caseworkers here from the counseling that he goes to see. He's been seeing them for quite a while. He's trying to do his school through GEDs. He's with me. I'm constantly watching him. He's 24 hours with me. So he's trying. He made a bad mistake, and yes, we do talk, and we know. Okay, I know you can tell this is. I'm the one who kind of helps him out a lot. So we're reaching out to anything that he needs as far as help. So
Do you know where he got the gun from?
no, ma'am, I do not.
How many people live in your house?
It's me, stepdad, and him, and his my father-in-law, and my mother-in-law.
All right, any children in the house younger than him?
No, ma'am, he's my youngest son.
Do you have any children?
No, ma'am.
All right, any questions, Dave?
No, Judge.
Defense?
No, Judge.
All right, thank you. All right, I want to case what we can forward, please.
Who's the case?
Could the case worker for Mr. Lozano please come forward?
Well, I'm actually not permitted to like testify or anything. I'm just here for support.
For just one moment. Mr. Lozano, you still under oath? Do you waive your rights of confidentiality to have your caseworker testify? All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear affirm testimony you give the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
You can lower your hand. Could you state your name for the record?
Michael Prim, Prim.
Thank you so much for coming. I'm not actually going to ask you about his medical diagnosis or any of that.
Mhm.
He's going to be receiving probation, so I need to know the parties who will be there to help him.
Yes, ma'am.
So now that I'm aware he has some mental health issues, I read about it in the top evaluation, but I'm trying to figure out what support system he already has in place.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so, Mr. Prim, where are you employed at?
Crystal Counseling.
Okay, I'm aware of Crystal Council.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you guys so much.
Yeah.
So, as he's placed on probation, he'll be signing a release.
Mhm.
But how often are you seeing him?
We try to see them at least twice a week.
And will that continue?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, is there a time limit on that or for?
We do an assessment every 6 months to, see where the progress is. And based on the progress, he might be deviated down to a lower level of care, but he would still get services. Meaning that we might see him once a week instead of twice. And,
And do you see him in his home or does he come see you?
we see him in his home and he comes to the clinic to see the psych provider once a month. But yeah, it's mainly field work that we do.
And the other question I have, if, for example, he were not agreeing to take this medication or fall off your radar, would you be able to let probation know if he signed a release? So that
Yes.
you'll know?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything you think that would be helpful for him, for the court to put as a condition? Of course, one of the conditions is going to be that he stays engaged with Christus. But is there anything else that I could do as a condition to help him be successful?
Well, so far, he's been like, very involved in his recovery and, he's done all the necessary things to, you know, show us that he's progressing and, as far as the sentencing, I don't think, jail time would do him any good. We want to work with him on getting his GED and finding a job and, you know, things like that, so he can be a productive citizen.
So you all will work with him with GED?
Yes.
Job counseling,
Yes,
and, do you all do drug testing as well or not?
yes. Every time he comes into the clinic to see the psych provider, he's tested.
All right, and as it is a release is signed, will you be able to give those results to probation?
Yes,
How often you see drug testing?
about at least once a month.
Okay. We may want more than that, are you able to do more than that?
I don't have the power to say.
Okay, so
Sorry.
what I'll do is, we can do the drug test with you all once a month,
Mhm.
but there will probably be coordination with probation. And if before you leave, if you could sit with him with probation, goes over his conditions with him.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
you all can coordinate on, the UAs.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you so much for
Okay.
coming in.
No-
Any
no
questions?
problem.
No, Your Honor, no from the state.
No, Your
Thank
Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, is there anything else from either side?
No, Judge.
All right, Mr. Lozano, you can pass in. All right, this is what the court is gonna do. I'm gonna sentence you to 8 years deferred adjudication. Oh, and Stan, I'm sorry, you can have a seat because I need you to leave first. $750 fine, that will be prorated. Defendant is to continue with mental health treatment. For Christus. Defendant to sign a release. Form. So that probation can have information from Christus. Defendant is to obtain GED and probation. He can do that, the GED, the job counseling, that can be done for Christus, since they're already doing that. And I'm going to say that you need to have employment. I'm going to say within 90 days, but if you're able to get it before then, you can, I think you need to make sure you stabilize first. Okay? There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. And probation, you can coordinate with Chris is also on his drug testing, but to begin with, I'm gonna want it more than 1 month. We'll do 2 times a month, but if you can coordinate and see when they do theirs, then sort of make yours random. And probation, if you want to coordinate with Christus as far as reporting, you know, if he reports to them, because they're saying they see him 2 times per week. But make sure, you know, because they say they do an assessment every 6 months to see if they can lower his reporting. If they lower his reporting and it becomes once a month, let the court know. But if probation wants to coordinate reporting through them, you can do that. So I'll say reporting 2 times per week. With probation. And then probation, if you want to use Christus, you can, but I'll just put 2 times per week with probation, but Christus support can count for that. I'm gonna want field visits. And probation, again, if Christus is going to the home, and I'm sure they're looking around. Mr. Prim? Yes, ma'am. When you go to the home, are you looking through the home and making sure there's nothing that shouldn't be there?
Yes.
All right. So, field visits, we'll do field visits, 1 time per week. Through, Christus. And then probation, if you will make sure that you do a follow-up field visit once every 2 months. And then mixed supervision. And again, you can coordinate that with, Christus. There's to be no contact with Priscilla, Gutierrez, Albert Rodriguez, and Josiah Rodriguez. There's to be 200 hours of community service restitution. The court is going to require anger management. And if you complete the anger management course, if you have to complete.
Sure.
And if you get your GED, then the community service hours will be waived. Probation, is there anything else he needs? All right, is there anything else you need for the court to be successful?
No.
Mr. Prim, is there anything else he needs?
No, ma'am, not on this.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna show you what's in the trial court certification. It's rights to appeal. Oh, no.
Okay.
You can't make-
Okay.
No, come on. Come on. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, because you waived your right to appeal. You don't have a court's position to appeal, you understand? All right, Mr. Lozano, in this courtroom, communication is key to be successful on probation. You need to make sure you stay in contact with your case managers, make sure you stay in contact with probation. If there's something you need, ask your probation officer. If you feel like they're not addressing your concerns, you can always walk into the courtroom. I'm here Monday through Friday, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you, Judge. I think you'll do well.
All right, thank you. Juan, Tehran. And there's a Spanish speaker that's. Yeah, I agree. All right, thank you. Whenever they come, let me know. Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
More yours.
All right, the court is calling 2015 CR 1361, State of Texas versus Jacob Anthony Flores. That party's announced for the record.
Your Honor, I believe this is
One
one
second.
wrong.
Okay, I don't know what, oh, you know what? There's something. Oh. Let me see, something weird happened with the. I'm like, right on probation. Here we are.
All right, 1-1. What is happening here?
We're asking to remain on the trial docket, Your Honor.
All right, so an offer was tendered.
Yes, today.
I'm gonna give you a plea deadline date. Ms. Ferguson, I need a 3-week reset for a plea deadline date.
I can do April 13th.
All right, your plea deadline date will be April 13th. After that, the court will not consider any plea bargain agreements without good cause. Otherwise, you have to plead open to the court. Counsel, I show that you received all discovery. State, I'll need a discovery acknowledgement.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's family violence. But I like that you're always ready, Mr. Garahan. You're like, I'll do that discovery acknowledgement.
I'm sorry, I walked away.
No, no problem. So I need a discovery acknowledgement filed.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your
And
Honor.
after he signs the reset form, he's excused.
Absolutely. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Sit down.
And Norma, just give me 2 minutes. My mom just called me. Let me see what's going on. Okay. Oh, no, I appreciate your calls, Mom. Mhm. Okay. All right, okay. Oh, thank you, Mom. Bye-bye. All right, who is here on Robert Dale Hintnick? All right, so in this case, the state was to locate evidence and tender discovery to defense expert.
So Judge, I did contact DPS. They did say that they were going, are we talking about the blood or are we talking about the discs?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Are we talking about the blood or are we talking about the discs? Because there were two issues.
Yes, both.
With the,
Let's start with disc.
the blood discovery, I reached out to DPS. They reached back out to me on Tuesday. They said that they would be getting this to us. It should be sent out by the end of this week, so we should get them early next week. Is what
Okay.
they're thinking. In regards to the blood sample, we both went out into the hallway and contacted QFT. We asked that they put Mr. Hecknick's sample on the list of things to be queried from SAPD to QFT. The technician indicated that she would email both of us to let us know whenever QFT received that blood sample. She said that it's usually a transfer that occurs on Tuesdays
Okay,
and that it would take approximately 15 days from when they get the sample to when they could get a final result. But that it could be more time, just depending on how busy or backed up they are.
I think, and that's all correct. I think it was 15 business days.
Sorry, 15 business days, Judge.
okay. So once it gets to your expert, how long would it take?
I think that assuming that they get it next week, I suppose we'd have those results about 3 weeks after that.
All right, so I'm going to, now that I know that everybody has everything, I'm going to set this for 30 days. And that will be the last reset for any discovery matters.
That'll be like a final free trial.
Oh, that's it.
Absolutely.
And state, you all will need to confer off docket. I know this was set for trial, but you all need to confer off docket to make an offer, because on that date, I'm also going to want to know whether or not he wants a jury trial or not.
Absolutely.
All right, Ms. Fergus, can I have a 30-day reset on Hintnick, please?
April 20th.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, April 20th.
All right. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome. Jacob Flores.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Court is calling 2015 CR 1361, State of Texas versus Jacob Flores. I believe this is criminal trial division.
Actually, Your Honor, it's family violence.
Oh, it's family
Defendant number
violence?
one.
Even though, family violence. All right, off the record for a moment. So are we here for the motion to revoke and he's never pled on the motion to revoke?
No, Your Honor, the state wants to reset it to April 3rd. His misdemeanor set for March 30th, so they want to see what happens on that one to see how it will impact what they recommend on this. I've got no problem coming back on the 3rd. Mr. Flores has no problem coming back on the 3rd.
All right, do we know that they're actually going on April 3rd in the misdemeanor court?
On March 30th.
March 30th, do we actually know that?
It's set for that day, Judge. I'm gonna reach out to it's set for that day. I don't know if they're gonna be going to trial, but I'll reach out to the prosecutors in County Court 7 and determine what their position is on that case.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can we recall this case for the 3rd of April? All right, we will see you back on April 3rd. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
April 3rd.
Lisa Quintanilla? Who's the attorney on Lisa Quintanilla? Hi, good morning. Hi.
Andrew's office, Taylor Wood.
All right, court is calling 2012 CR 5374, State of Texas versus Lisa Quintanilla. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Jason Jorgens for the state.
Taylor Wood. for Miss Quintanilla.
All right. Ms. Quintanilla, I'm showing you what's entitled motion to revoke community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same Lisa Jean Quintanilla who was placed on community supervision in 2012 CR 5374 for the offense of theft 20,000, 100,000 on January 7, 2013 for a term of 10 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, state.
Judge, we were going to ask for continuance in this case to try to settle the restitution issue, since that's the only allegation of the MTR.
Okay. And when is this going to be settled?
So the state is going to try to determine whether insurance paid any portion of the restitution amount that was assessed.
Okay.
And I think during that time, Ms. Quintanilla is also going to try to obtain more funds in case insurance did not cover that. So if we could have a 30-day reset to try to handle both of those issues, hopefully we can resolve it next time.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, I need a 30-day reset on Ms. Quintanilla.
On the 17th of April, April 17th.
All right, April 17th.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge.
Yes.
May I be excused, Judge?
After she signs the reset form.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, could I see the parties on Ernesto Dominguez Martinez with the interpreter is present?
We're approaching the judge to make an announcement.
All right, so are we proceeding with this motion?
Judge, perhaps not. Your court, just to bring up to speak, is willing to close out your case, but they want to play out in 12.
Yes, and
We have done the Padilla letter in your court, and the Padilla letter is awaiting out of County Court 12. I just came from 12. Herman says I'm gonna reach out to her, send her the order, and also the if I need to, I'll talk to her over the phone. There's been some issue.
wait, talk, who are we talking to?
Herman, the coordinator from 12,
All right,
regarding
so,
the Padilla letter, they don't have it inside their file.
okay, here's the court's issue. This has been going on since February 10th. And then we were called for March 7th for him to plea in County Court 12. Then this MTR was supposed to be withdrawn. And so whoever the immigration attorney is, somebody needs to call them today. And if the
Called it
letter,
last time we report
yes,
from the bench, and she did provide the one, once you called, provided the one for the 187, because you wanted one from the 187. She just hasn't done it in 12.
all right, so is she the immigration for 12? Because she's only the immigration attorney for the 187.
She's the same one for both.
All right, so what will end up happening, because I didn't appoint her in 7.
It's in 12.
In 12. I did not appoint her in 12. This case is getting resolved today. So
Okay.
he has the Padilla letter for here. So this case is getting resolved today because we keep coming back, and actually this case has been going on, this motion to revoke, since January 10th. And I'm not giving any further resets. So if somebody wants to pick up the phone, call immigration or whatever with regards to County Court 12. But I'm not resetting this again.
Sounds good.
All right,
Thank you, Judge.
thank you. All right, and then the next person we have is Jose Perez. All right, the court is calling 2022 CR 2308, State of Texas versus Jose Raimundo Perez. Can I have the parties announced for the record for the state?
Brittany Mitchell for the state.
Defense?
Good morning, Your Honor. Albert Flores for Mr. Jose Raimundo Perez.
And are you Mr. Perez?
Yes.
All right. All right, we have an interpreter. Could you raise your right hand for me, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth so help you? I'm sorry. No, that's not you. I'm sorry. I'm in my mind, I'm doing 3 different things because one, I'm trying to figure out what he was found guilty of with the jury. But could you raise your right hand?
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm you will faithfully translate from Spanish into English and English into Spanish so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor. I do.
All right, you can lower your hand. Could you state your name for the record?
Yes, Your Honor. My name is Elizabeth Stonking, license number 23.
All right, so state or defense, what did the jury find him guilty of, please?
I believe it was count 1, Judge. The sexual assault.
Yes, it was a guilty for sexual assault.
All right, let me see if it's in the file. Just give me a moment. All right. So what I have is that the jury found you guilty of sexual assault. Any objections to the court assessing punishment, state or the defense?
Your Honor, I believe they recommended probation, but I think
Yes.
the court has to.
So my question is, any objection to this judge assessing punishment?
No, Your Honor, I know there was an intervening judge, but no, we don't object.
No objection.
All right, have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state,
Yes, Your Honor.
defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections to the PSI report, state,
No,
defense?
None from the defense judge.
All right, any witnesses, state,
no, Your Honor.
defense?
No, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Judge, yes, he's obviously not a young man. He's lived his life here in the United States from the age of his early 20s. He's opened his own business, raised a family. This is, while it's a significant, obviously, mark on his record, it is the only one that he's ever had. I don't suspect that I know that there's no evidence that he's ever exhibited any kind of behavior that would let this court believe that he is a danger to society in any way, shape, or form. I believe that's why the jury assessed punishment or recommended probation. I think he's got other issues to deal with. He's a legal permanent resident. And once he gets put on probation, he's gonna have to deal with those issues. He understands that. His punishment is not over. He's got to continue paying and dealing with those issues. He's been in jail already for 60 days, Judge. We're just asking that you follow the recommendation.
All right, and is there any request for a length of probation time?
Your Honor, we would ask for the full 10 years.
I think the recommendation was 8 years. I think that would be sufficient.
No, 8 years prison. But the jury has said that they recommend that be suspended and he be placed on probation.
I think I would leave that to the court's discretion.
All right, the court then will sentence you according to the jury's verdict. The court is finding you guilty of the offense of sexual assault. There's to be 8 years in the prison, suspended for 10 years. Chapter 62 registration. There's to be no contact with the complainant. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular UAs. There's no community service hours that I can give him that they'll allow him to take based upon his chapter 62 registration. So the court is not going to order community service restitution, and that is why. Proof of employment within 30 days of release from custody. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Field visits 1 time per month. There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. And there is, well, that's it. Anything else, probation?
Judge, did you want field visits?
Yes, thank you. Field visits 1 time per month.
Your Honor, the victim has undergone counseling because of this, so we would ask for any restitution. I just had to be out of pocket for counseling services.
We don't oppose that, Your Honor. I do have an issue with the no contact with minors. I believe one of his daughters.
No, it's no unsupervised contact.
No.
All right, restitution for counseling to the complainant. And so with regards to that counseling, if it's covered by insurance, of course, that's the insurance company. But if it's something that's out of pocket for her, he'll have to pay for it.
Yes, sir.
And there will be suitable documentation, I'm sure, shown to defense counsel to show that it's out of pocket. Probation, anything else that he needs? All right, Mr. Perez, is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful?
No.
No, ma'am.
All right, did you review the document with your attorney entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal? Did you sign it and did you understand it?
Which one? I did not understand.
The Trial Court's Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal.
It's been too much, Your Honor. I don't know if you could show it to him. I'll see.
Oh, yes.
All right. And counsel, do you speak Spanish?
I do, Your Honor.
Do you speak it fluently?
I do, Your Honor.
And were you able to communicate with this document that's in English with your client in Spanish?
I was, Your Honor.
And do you believe he understands it?
I do believe so.
All right. Because this was not a plea bargain agreement, because this was a jury trial, you do have a right to appeal.
And he's already been informed, Your Honor, that he has 30 days to effect that appeal if he so wishes.
And were you, I'm sorry, were you retained or?
I was retained, yes.
All right, so if there's anything that needs to be filed, if he needs a court-appointed attorney, once everything is filed, we'll make sure he has one.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Perez. If there's an issue with probation, let the court know. We're here Monday through Friday. But in this court, in order to be successful on probation, communication is key. So anytime you have an issue or something that you need that's not being given to you, let probation know. If that problem is not solved, let the court know. All right, is there anything else from either side?
Nothing much.
All right, yes.
We do have it.
Okay. All right, Mr. Perez, they have victim impact. So the complainant will speak to you. Just listen to what they have to say and internalize it.
For 2 years now, I've tried to piece together the words of what I'd say when this moment came. I need to start by letting you know that we forgive you. We don't hate you. Not at all. Ray told me to let you know that he does not hate you. We hate what you did. And with that being said, you do deserve the punishment, whatever it may be. I looked forward all my life to the family that I would one day marry into. The friendship between the siblings and the mother-in-law, and you stole that from me. Because of their loyalty to you, I've been treated differently and outcasted. When prior to all of this, we did have a beautiful bond. It was like having a fairy tale ripped right out of my hand. And we will never be the same, not any one of us. I will never understand why you did what you did. I thought so many times, what if I tried to hear you out? But the answer always comes back to the same thing. It doesn't matter why it happened. I carry a burden and a guilt that I never deserved. The shame is yours to carry, not mine. Everyone stands behind you as if I'm someone to blame. Your wife, your children, everyone has stood behind you this entire time. And they've outcasted me as if I did it. Because of your decisions, you've forever lost your son. We have two beautiful children now that you won't ever get to know. My babies have to grow up without their grandfather. Your wife lives in constant anxiousness. Your daughters are broken in different ways. You made it to where I can't trust the people closest to me. You stole my confidence and my self-esteem, and you made me feel unworthy of your son. You filled me with anxieties that I can't escape from and nightmares that occurred for several weeks after this happened. Your son lost his role model, he lost his father, and he lost his closeness with his siblings. He wanted me to let you know that he loves you and he misses you and that he wishes that this had never happened so that you could see that to share these experiences with him. We just pray that you repent and that you find salvation and that you make better decisions in the future.
Isaac Lopez. He's in the middle. Where are we on this case?
Good morning, Judge. This is our first trial setting. I just spoke with the prosecutor this morning, so we just got an offer. We have a little more discovery that I know we're gonna be seeking, and so we're in fair shape, I guess, but not great shape yet.
All right, what discovery issues?
We're attempting to get the police officers, who's the alleged victim in this case, his request for time off based on the injury, as well as probably not gonna get this, but as well as any medical information that he might have turned in.
All right, state, when will you have that?
I don't know, this is the first I'm hearing of a judge.
Okay.
We'll make a request. I don't know how long it'll take, and SAP may try to quash any subpoena.
Oh, well. Okay. All right, can I have a 30-day reset? All right, we'll come back on April 17th.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. You're excused.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Yes, thank you so much for coming.
See you, Your Honor.
You too.
Thank
Who's here on William Jefferson Chapman?
I'm here, Your Honor.
All right, I'm gonna call another case. The next case up after this one is Jonathan Nicholas. No, it's coming up after this one. And who knows where he is. All right, you can come up. I'll take yours on Jonathan Nicholas. All right, what's happening with this case?
Morning, Your Honor. Our expert has made contact with the Attorney General's office, and they're scheduling him to go to Austin and do what he needs to do. I've got a long email chain where the expert's talking to the Attorney General's office. And apparently there's a very lot, it's like 87 gigabytes that they have to sort through. And so it's taking longer than we thought, but it is in the works. I believe he went to Austin on Tuesday. The issue was they had to download it, and it was that big. And
all right, so when is this going to be done? That's the $1 million question.
I'm hoping within a month, 3 weeks. That's what I'm hoping.
All right, and state, what is happening with these? And mind you, Mr. Nicholas, I don't take any of these allegations as true because I haven't heard any evidence. But state, what is happening with these new number ones that are in this? Are these cases being taken for indictment? What's going on?
Your Honor, I am appearing on behalf of one of my colleagues. I'm covering for her, but based on the information that's been relayed to me, I believe that the state intends to indict the new allegations in their own separate indictments. I don't believe that we're fit to offer any sort of a pretrial plea bargain offer, a global offer incorporating everything until defense counsel's expert has had the opportunity to examine the evidence and then come to his conclusion, and then both sides come to the table. But that's the information that I can relay to the court at this time.
All right, this will be the last reset for this. Ms. Ferguson, can I have a 30-day reset? All right, you guys are going to come back on April 17th. Caroline, could you fill out a form?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Norma, on Mr. Nicholas, can we come back on April 17th? All right, is there anything else?
That's all, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, we'll give you your reset form.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you.
Your Honor, if I may approach, Mr. Chapman is back in the courtroom.
All right, thank you. All right, what's happening with this case?
We're just requesting one more reset, Your Honor. I think that we can get this resolved. The state is just requesting some additional time to review the evidence.
All right, today was supposed to be the plea deadline date. So that means that an offer was given. What evidence are we reviewing?
Your Honor, I'm new on the case, so I'm asking for one more reset date to review it. We are in the ballpark of reaching an agreement on this case. I just want to take one last look, and I will reach out to Ms. Chapman in the interim to have an agreement set by the next date.
All right. Ms. Ferguson,
Yes, sir.
can we recall this for next week? Is that enough time?
That should be enough.
I can do the 30.
All right, we're coming back on the 30th.
Thank you.
That is your plea deadline date. The court will not extend the plea deadline date any further. Ms. Ferguson will give you a reset form. Adrian Soto. Mr. Woodard, it's been a long time since we've seen you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Just before we begin, I do have letters I've shown to the state if I can provide them to the court.
Let me read this very quickly. No, they're not. All right, defense. All right, and my understanding, he entered a plea in 2 cases, is that correct?
That's correct, Judge.
All right, the court is calling 2020 CR 2993 and 2023 CR 043W State of Texas versus Adrian Soto. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Ruben Herrera for the state.
Defense?
David Andre Woodard from Mr. Soto.
Are you Mr. Soto? And cause number 2020 CR 2998. You enter a plea of no contest to burglary of a habitation with intent to commit assault. According to the plea bargaining agreement, punishments be assessed at 8 years in the prison, and the state is opposing your application. And cause number 2020 CR 3661, you entered a plea of no contest to the offense of assault, bodily injury of a security officer. According to your plea bargaining agreement, the state is requesting that punishments be assessed at 8 years in the prison. They're opposing your applications. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state? Defense?
I have, Judge.
Any objections to the PSI report, state?
No objection.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, any witnesses, state?
None from the state.
Defense?
No, Your Honor, aside from the letters that are provided to you.
All right, and for the record, the court has reviewed the letters that have been presented. The court will hear arguments, state.
Your Honor, based on the defendant's criminal history, he did pick up these felony cases as well as multiple misdemeanors that are also pending involving the same family. The defendant's conduct is escalating and continues to terrorize the family, including the complainants on this case, as well as her brother, her children, and her mother. And the burglary for habitation, a burglary to a habitation case, defendants alleged to have entered the house through a open window or through an unlocked window and grabbed the child from where he was sleeping at 3 o'clock in the morning. He's shown a disregard for the safety and welfare of the complainant as well as the children in the household. And it's the state's fear that if the defendant were granted probation, he would continue to contact the family, continue to violate any no contact orders that would be entered. I would believe that the only way to ensure the safety and the welfare of the complainants are to sentence the defendant to the prison.
Defense?
Judge, I've reviewed the PSI and also talked to Mr. Soto this morning regarding the impact statement as provided in the PSI, and I've asked him, since this incident, had he had any contact with the complainants? And since the incident, he stayed away from them. He does have 2 children with the young lady. He hasn't seen the children because of this incident, but he has not gone around them or their household. So I think he's shown that he can stay away from them. I don't think he needs prison to stay away from them. Since he's been on bond, since these cases have been pending, he stayed away from that family. Also, Judge, if you look at his prior history, he does not have any convictions for misdemeanors or felonies. He's 25, he is working. He has support. He has family members here in court with him this morning. He has the letters that were provided to him. I think when we pled on the case, Judge, the court asked him if he was experiencing any substance abuse issues at the time of the offense. He was truthful with the court. He said, yes, Judge, I was under the influence. I also asked him this morning if the court did testing, how he come up. And he explained to me he would come up negative. He has not been using any type of substances since he's been on bond, since these cases have been pending. He's working as a painter. He's not on child support for the children, but he is willing to place himself on child support so he can start contributing to their well-being. Also, Judge, the TAP evaluation, I noticed that it is recommending inpatient treatment. If the court did grant his application for deferred, we would ask the court to first see how he does in intensive outpatient treatment, because he's shown that he can stay drug-free. But I do think he would need some assistance with that, even though he's been doing it since he's been on bond. We would ask the court, if the court did grant his application for deferred, to place him in intensive outpatient treatment prior to placing him in inpatient treatment. He accepted responsibility for both offenses. He pled to these cases. And now we're here before the court, asking the court to grant his applications for deferred.
All right, so this is the court's issue. and not really an issue, but these are things that I think of. All right, so he has a felony offense, and I'm assuming this is being taken in consideration. The violation of an order, protective order. That's from December 31st, 2019. The burglary that he pled to is from December 27th, 2019. So let me go in order. So he has a continuous violence case that's December 14th, 2018. I'm not saying it's true because nobody pled to that, but that's what he's charged with. Then after that, you would think something would click. Hey, I just got arrested, because I know he would have gotten arrested on that and made bond. And he would have gotten an attorney. So you would have thought that something would have clicked with that. But what ends up happening is on December 27, 2019, he picks up this burglary. Then you would have thought something clicked with that. But then what ends up happening? He picks up the he picks up the violation of the court order or bond order or protective order on December 31st, 2019. And you would have thought that it would have been like, hey, I need to be on my P's and Q's because I picked up all these felonies. I understand relationships, and sometimes people don't love each other anymore and they have children and they got to make it work for the children, or they got to stay respectful to each other because they got to raise children together. And as everybody know, even though people say, we only need to be with each other for 18 years, but people know sometimes you need to be with certain children till they're like 25 or 30. I understand that. But then what ends up happening? He ends up picking up another case that he pled to, which is the assault case, on September 17th, 2022. So he has some issues. And I don't think that probation at this time is appropriate for him. Is he on GPS?
He is, Judge, and since he's been on GPS, he has not violated the GPS.
Oh, because he's on GPS because of this. And I'm not the judge who gave him probation for continuing to pick up cases. Some other judge did that. And the only thing I came back to do was probably add the GPS so that everybody would know where he was. So I'm not inclined to give him probation. I'm not going to give him probation. I'm going to sentence him, and I will retain jurisdiction. So in cause number 2020 CR 2998, court will find you guilty. Court will sentence you to 5 years prison. Give you credit for any time served. There's a $1,500 fine. Time and money will run concurrent. This will run concurrent with 2023 CR 0463W. Take in consideration 2022 CR 3661, 2021 CR 3086, night mag number 679462. The following county court cause numbers: 634960, 6048888, 630200, 634987, 634989. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no contact with Augustine Olvera, Olvera, Elvira Olvera, Galilea, Gaililea, Olivera, and John Mello, Mellow. Give you credit for any time served. And that cause number, I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction and also affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to your attorney. And cause number 2023 CR 0436W, court is finding you guilty, sentencing you to 5 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. This will run concurrent with 2020 CR 2998. There's to be no contact with Bentley, Bentley, Beer, BER, Garden. Court will give you credit for any time served. Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. You understand? All right, we can go off the record. I'll retain jurisdiction.
Both cases, Judge?
Yes. Sometimes, you know, it is about rehab. Well, it's always about rehabilitation, but it's also about protecting the community, and it's also about punishment. Sometimes people think the justice system isn't about punishment, but really, all these cases, there's an air of punishment involved, but hopefully rehabilitation. I know you probably think this is the end of the world. I came in here, I'm going to prison, but you're young. You still have a chance to get your life together. Please don't go to prison and get a bunch of tattoos, because you're clean shaven now. Please let it stay that way, okay? All right, thank you.
Thanks, Judge.
And State, if you can get the dismissals. Who's here on Anita Herrera? Oh, Caroline. I think I put my docket in one of those files that I just gave you. Oh, actually, no, I did not. Yeah, I have it. Sorry about that. All right, what is happening? Good morning, where's your client? Oh, and she's over here. You're in the center. She's in the center. You're on the other side. You're on the other side. All right, so where are we on the psychological?
My client has been found incompetent to stand trial and she's awaiting a placement.
All right, thank you. Ms. Ferguson, what date do we set this for?
I think May 8th.
All right, we'll do May 8th, and please make that a phantom setting, otherwise they won't take her. May 8th.
May. Thank you, Jennifer.
All right, thank you.
Anita.
Who's here on Roland Orta? All right, thank you. All right, State. Hello. All right. Oh, no, I have it in my notes. All right, State, you were supposed to speak with the complainant?
Yes, Your Honor, we did speak with the complainant and we have tendered an offer to counsel today. I believe he's requesting some time to meet with his client due to his hearing abilities to discuss the offer.
I'd like to also have his family, his daughter is kind of his caretaker right now. And she helps me because of his hearing issue, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can I have a plea deadline date on Mr. Orta for 3 weeks, please?
I can do the April 10th.
All right, April 10th. Ms. Ferguson will give you the reset form.
Wait for me in the hall, Roland.
Wait for him in the hallway. Okay.
Who is here on Christopher Garza? All right, the court is calling 2022 CR 8955, State of Texas versus Christopher Garza. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Brittany Mitchell for the state.
For the,
I'm appearing for Robert Ariano, attorney of record for the firm, and representing Christopher Garza.
and are you Mr. Garza?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so according to the plea bargaining agreement, the state waived count 2 and is proceeding on count 1. And the state is recommending deferred adjudication. Is that correct?
Correct. We proceeded under count 1, we proceeded on the lesser included aggravated sexual assault of a child.
All right, is there a reason there's an offer for deferred adjudication in this case?
Your Honor, this is a case where the victim in this case has had several mental health episodes. And when we met with the child, she very clearly is still very emotionally devastated, as she should be, from these allegations. And based on our interactions with her and some thoughts of harming herself and other anxiety and other issues, it's the state's opinion that it is in her best interest and in the state's case to resolve this matter with a plea agreement. Having been in this unit, I know that the sex offender unit is very intensive supervision. And with a deferred, we do have the ability to sentence him up to 99 years if he does not abide by the conditions.
Right, so you are saying that you would not be able to go forward with trial if the court were not to follow this agreement? Is that what the state is saying?
No, Your Honor, I think we could go forward with trial, Your Honor, but it would be
because I'm reading the PSI report. As you all know, I read all the PSI reports, and the family wants him underneath the prison.
right. We spoke to the family, Your Honor. They understood the plea agreement. We've spoken to them since the PSI report as well. They understand the plea agreement. They were agreeable to it. I think when the PSI officer spoke with them, it was more of a, what would you like? And not they didn't quite understand. And of course, with the gravity of these charges, it definitely is it is a common opinion that he should be in prison, Your Honor, but
so I mean, if he should be in prison and the state is telling me that they can proceed with their case, I don't understand why I should be following this agreement. So if there is something, and I've been a defense attorney and I've been a prosecutor, and sometimes I realize that you all know more about the case than a judge would know. So is there a reason why he should not be going to a jury trial for and I guess this started out as a continuous, is there a reason why he should not be going to a jury trial? And if the jury finds him guilty, they find him guilty. If they find him not guilty, they find him not guilty. So if there is an issue that you all know in your plea negotiations, and I know that plea negotiations are confidential, if there's something in your plea agreement that would make me rethink and say, yes, judge, you should accept this plea bargain agreement, then you can just say on the record, Your Honor, there's something with our plea negotiations, and we would hope that you would accept this agreement. Otherwise, I don't see why I should follow this agreement.
I can, Your Honor, I was not at the, this is so loud. At the plea in January. I believe Judge Nahara heard the plea and accepted the plea. I am reading notes from the attorney that was there, and it does appear as though there were several issues going back and forth, some discrepancies, I believe, in the interviews, the forensic interviews, and credibility issues. There's potentially another suspect that has not been identified. And so in looking at it, I would agree with the court. However, my client is fully accepting what this means to him. I've reviewed the Chapter 62 registration requirements with him. I've spoken with his wife. His wife is here in the courtroom. He does have a place to go when he is done. He has a job. He's been in security for 11 years. He has stability. He wants the opportunity to go undeferred so that he can prove and redeem himself. There are past family issues with the complainant's side of the family, but I'm not here to retract or recant his plea. And because I know the court has already accepted his plea, at least the plea of guilty to this case, I certainly don't want to change that. And I've advised my client not to change that. But I do think that there is sufficient reason for the court to follow the agreement for the deferred. And I would agree with the state that he is aware of what would happen should he violate, what could potentially happen should he violate his conditions of probation. He has thoroughly reviewed the Chapter 62 registration requirements, and again is prepared to do that. However, I would say that if the court doesn't find it in his interest or in the community's interest to put him on deferred, I don't know if there's a mechanism by which we could withdraw the plea and go to
Oh,
trial.
no.
Or
What would end up happening is just, I would not accept the plea. I would reject your plea.
Okay.
But based upon what defense counsel is telling me and what state is telling me, as a former family violence prosecutor, I understand that there may be negotiation issues as to why an offer is made in this type of case. So I'll follow your plea bargain agreement, sentence you to 10 years deferred adjudication. There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors, no contact with the complainants or the complainant's family. Chapter 62 registration, regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular UAs. You're going to be on the sex offender caseload. I'm going to want field visits at least 1 month. At least once a month. And probation, if you want to count the field visits as reporting, you can. Proof of employment within 30 days of release. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Probation, is there anything else he needs? Regular UAs. All right, is there anything else you need from the court?
Your Honor, with regard to the no contact with minors,
No, I said no unsupervised contact.
okay, so he can move home.
He can have no unsupervised contact with his biological children, but then there's also no contact with minors.
I understand that. I just want to make sure because I have dealt with this in prior cases where probation reads it entirely different and then they will not allow them access to their biological children.
And I'm sure Child Protective Services should be involved.
They already have, Your Honor, and ruled out everything other than this complainant.
All right, and probation, just do compliance with CPS if applicable. If CPS has closed their case, then they're closed their case. showing you what's entitled trial court certificate, go around. Why do people think they can reach through and their
Well,
arms
because,
are that
Your Honor,
long?
we don't want to walk around a barrier either. Your Honor.
All
You put
right.
up a barrier and I'm gonna follow it.
Thank you. You're the only person who wants to follow that. All right. I'm showing you what's entitled trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you. ma'am.
Thank
Good
you,
day.
Your Honor.
Thank you.
Who is here on Henry Peterson?
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Peterson.
Good morning. Your Honor.
You're always on time and you always dress appropriately for court. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, court is calling 2022 CR 3176, State of Texas versus Henry Lee Peterson. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Debbie Priest on behalf of the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
Tony anonymous on behalf of Mr. Peterson.
Are you Mr. Peterson?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you entered a plea of no contest
Yes, Your Honor.
on January 23rd to the offense of driving while intoxicated third or more as a repeater. According to the plea bargain agreement, state opposes your application and they're asking that your punishment be assessed at 10 years in the prison. Have you, both parties reviewed the PSI report, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Any witnesses that you wish to call, state?
None from the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
We have one.
All right. If you can call your witness.
We're here, Mr. Peterson on this side.
I'm sorry. Your Honor, we call Chris Bates.
All right. Can you raise your, good morning. Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right. You can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record.
Christopher Bates.
All right. Defense?
Okay. Mr. Bates, you are the stepbrother to Henry Lee Peterson, is that correct?
Yes.
You understand today that the judge is going to be making a decision on his application for community supervision or probation, is that right?
Yes.
You had indicated to me that you had wanted to speak on his behalf, is that right?
Yes.
If you would please, would you tell the court a little bit about Mr. Peterson and what his current responsibilities are at home?
Yes, sir. That's my stepbrother. He's right now, currently, he's taking care of his father and my mother.
Mhm.
And right now, my mother's very ill and he has responsibility right now around the house. It's taking care of them, cooking for them. He also working on the tire company business. And right now, I usually go over to help and everything, you know, like making breakfast and all that. But my girlfriend, she took ill, so now everything's turned over to my stepbrother, and I'm kind of worried about if anything's happened to him right now, who would take care of, you know, parents, and that's where I'm at. And
Mr. Bates, when you say take care of your stepfather and your mother, what do you mean by that? What kind of things have you personally seen him doing?
he has to help clean the house. He's cleaning the house up. He's cooking them, breakfast, lunch, and supper. I try to have my brother take my mother to like her appointments, and then his sister is taking his father to doctor's appointments and stuff like that. But without him around the house, I just don't know what's going to happen with them.
Now, this business that his father owns, this airplane tire company, that is on the same property where they live.
Yes,
is that
it is.
right?
Mhm.
And the only other individual that lives on that property, other than your mother and your stepfather, is Henry Lee Peterson Jr., is that correct?
Yes. Mhm.
All right. Now, in regards to the business, what kind of business is this?
It's a tire company.
And they do tire for commercial.
Right,
vehicles,
yeah. Mhm.
Fire department.
Fire department, BMS.
Okay. And Mr. Henry Lee Peterson Jr. is the one who's running that business currently,
Yes.
is that right?
Yes.
And he has been for about how long, do you know?
He's been working, there for like, he grew up around tires, so the last couple of years, I know, he's been the doctor with this.
Now, Henry Lee has been on the GPS monitor for a considerable amount of time. He's not allowed to drive. Is that right?
Correct. Mhm.
And when he does need to go someplace, how does he get there? What have you personally seen?
I do, I usually take him to the court and when he has his hearings, I take him for his UA.
Okay, so and you've been the one coming to court with him regularly, is that right?
Yes. Mhm.
You're the one driving the vehicle.
Right.
Have you witnessed him driving any vehicle since
No,
he's
I
been
don't.
arrested on this case?
No.
You understand that Henry Lee's had an alcohol problem for a number of years, is that right?
Yes.
Since January of 2022, when he was arrested on this case, have you seen him? Have you been around him regularly?
Yeah.
About how often a week? How many times a week do you see him?
Usually just about 3 or 4 times, a week, but right now my girlfriend's in the hospital. She had like brain surgery, so I've been away for a while for the last month and a half.
Okay. During those time periods that you've been able to be there physically with him, have you ever suspected or that he was drinking?
Not at all. No.
You had no reason to suspect that he was doing that.
No, he's just been out working on tires.
If Mr. Peterson were to be sent to prison, do you think that that'd be a severe hardship on your your mother and your stepfather?
I know it would be. That's what I'm worried about.
You've had a chance to counsel Mr. Peterson in regards to this case, is that right? To speak to him about the
Oh,
case,
yes.
is that
Mhm.
right? And do you believe that he is sincere in wanting help in this particular case?
Yes, I do.
For his drinking?
Yes.
If the court were to grant his application and he needed some assistance getting places, are you willing to continue to assist him?
Yes, anytime.
And do you believe that he has significant support in his family?
Yes,
Your mother's supportive of his sobriety and his application for probation?
yes,
And so it's your stepfather, as far as you know?
correct.
Pass the witness, yeah.
State.
Does your mother and your, good morning, does your mother and your stepfather, do they have the ability to hire a home health provider or have one appointed to them?
My mother has insurance, but it's not really good. And what they do is like, I guess they call it units. So they call it units where they'll have somebody to come out and then it runs out and then she has to go back to the doctor and then they have to reissue the prescription. So.
No further questions, John. Just argument.
All right, any other questions?
So the answer is essentially that there's no one else to do the work that Henry Lee does, is that correct?
Right.
In regards to your mother. and
Right.
your stepfather. But we'd pass it, that's all we have this one.
Nothing further.
All right, thank you so much for coming in and speak with me.
Have a nice day.
All right, are there going to be any other witness?
Just Mr. Peterson wanted to address the court.
All right. If you all could wait and let me come back on your hearing because I want to check with availability. I'm considering felony drug court, but it depends on whether or not they have a availability. I know the state is opposed, but I want to have all my information so I can take that under advisement. So I'm checking on something. So just if you all will give us a moment.
We will. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. Roland Orta. Is the attorney here? All right, that's a no. Edgar Alcantar Salazar.
Yeah, this is a violation report.
Have you talked to the state about this violation report?
Talking about this violation report, it's the first time.
Oh, yeah, if you'll speak to the state about it. Joe Gonzalez. Thank you. And probation, this is an application for deferred. We're probably going to need a PSI. Court is calling 2022 CR 9961, State of Texas versus Joe Gonzalez. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state, family violence?
Brittany Mitchell for the state.
Pat Hancock for Joe Gonzalez, the defendant.
All right, are you Joe Gonzalez? Counsel, you've received all the discovery in this case?
We have, Judge, we signed an acknowledgement.
All right, and did you review the discovery with your client?
I did, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Gonzalez, I'm showing you what's entitled application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney?
Yes,
Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Next, I'm showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
All right, off the record for one moment. Mr. Brooks?
Yes.
Hi, if you could come forward. Counsel for Mr. Peterson. Counsel for Mr. Peterson. That's okay. All right. On Mr. Peterson, I don't know if you could confer with counsel and perhaps Judge Glenn, seeing if there's an availability for Mr. Peterson and confer with the state.
We will, thank you. Thank you.
And that is the court's file.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right. And we're back on the record. Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, ma'am.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Your Honor, we waived count 2 and we are proceeding under count 1 under the lesser included indecency with a child by contact.
Any objection?
No objection, Judge, and my client and I reviewed that change.
Mr. Gonzalez, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with indecency and the lesser of indecency with a child by contact as a second-degree felony? The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent? Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case? Did you understand if the court would grant your application for deferred adjudication? If for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty, sentence you to 20 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
We have gone through every aspect of this case, Judge.
Right. Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
In my opinion, he was legally sane and he's competent to stand trial.
Mr. Gonzalez, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of indecency with a child by contact. Punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 8 years. The state opposes your application. There's to be compliance with the Chapter 62 registration and no contact with the complainants. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
Yes.
Showing you the paragraph entitled Waiver of Appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
No, ma'am.
Then to the lesser included offense, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? State any evidence?
No, we have the state's exhibit number 1 and all attachments.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, state, you can be excused. All right, Mr. Gonzalez, I'm showing you what's entitled Waiver and Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent? Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there will be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments. The court has reviewed the same. The court finds there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. We'll come back on May 4th. At that time, I'll make a decision on your application based upon any evidence that's presented to me and the PSI report. Is there a need for a TAP evaluation?
No, Judge, not that I see.
All right, state, it'll be a PSI for Mr. Gonzalez, no TAP. All right, thank you.
May 4th, Your Honor.
Yes,
Thank you. Judge, may we approach on Alcantara?
just 1 moment. Prescott Amoa? Is the attorney here for Prescott Amoa? Yes. All right, where are we on the PTD?
His application is still being processed and evaluated.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, I need a reset for PTD.
I'm sorry, Judge.
PTD on AMOA.
Oh, I'm sorry, the 18th, Judge.
All right, we'll come back on April 18th. I'll just get a reset form from Ms. Ferguson and then you're excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Victor Garcia. Victor Garcia. Who's the attorney on Victor Garcia? Just have a seat in the box. We'll come back to you. Daniel Maris Medina.
Daniel.
Always good to see you.
Nice to see you, Judge.
All right, what's happening on this case? So I see here the last time we're here, some sort of scheduling with the doctor.
Yeah, psychological evaluation report has been completed.
Mhm.
We have a setting with Carruthers. I believe it's March 28th.
All right.
We have immigration attorney Teresa Cole Davila appointed.
Mhm.
We don't have a plea offer because we're the competency issues, but I've already been conferring ahead of time to see if we can get negotiations started.
That's correct, Your Honor. If he's found confident, we'll have an offer on that day.
All right, so it's scheduled for March, the competency.
I believe it's the 28th with Carruthers.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can you recall this for 45 days? Is that enough for everybody?
I believe so.
Enough for-
The House of the Dragons. Okay.
I can do, May.
All right, we'll come back on May 8th. Ms. Ferguson will give you your reset form.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Oh, I put it up, back up there. Let me make sure. And who is it? Okay, that one's, this one's not. And it's Christopher who? I think I handed that to you because you remember that's the one where I thought I had the docket still, the docket sheet still in there. Oh, you know what? It's back here. Okay, all right, thank you.
Do I have to miss not
Edward Reyes, Eduardo Reyes. Hello, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Oh, great. So where's your client? Come down. All right, so has the state made an offer?
They have, Judge, and also I filed a motion for competency.
Okay.
He was scheduled for the evaluation on January 23rd, but I'm not sure they have done it. Me?
Yeah, you understand.
All right, have you been seen by Mr. Reyes? Have you been seen by a doctor?
No, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, he's scheduled a competency and it's been scheduled since January. Can you make sure that this is not lost?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so we'll make sure that that's on the docket. And Ms. Ferguson, I want to recall this back in 3 weeks so we can make sure that the competency issue is done.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Judge.
All right, what date, Ms. Ferguson?
I can do the 13th.
All right, so we're going to come back on April 13th for an update on competency. And counsel, if you could go to Judge Carruthers' court and let them know that this is pending.
Yes, Judge, I will do that.
All right, is there anything else?
No for the defense, Judge.
All right, thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thank you, Judge. Maybe excused.
Yes. All right. Excuse me, the person who had the compliance issue. What's your client's name? Edgar what? Let me find it in the files, just 1 second. All right, so we have a violation report. State, have you had a chance to review the violation report? It's a high BRAC reading.
Yes, Your Honor, the defense counsel and I discussed it, and I did view it.
All right, so why do I have a high reading from you?
I went with my friends and my friends were drinking and I took one of her drinks, but I didn't really think about it. I was just with them.
All right, so do your friends know the charges you have pending? Well, if your friends know what your pending charges are, did any of them say, hey, you may probably not want to take a drink? Did any of them say that?
No, well, they're my coworkers. No.
Did any of them say that? Then those are not your friends. Because if you have an alcohol issue, which you may do, well, not may do, you do. I don't take this offense as true because I haven't received any evidence on it. But the fact that you're here for a DWI third tells me that you have an alcohol problem because you have 2 previous DWIs. Do you want to wait for your case to be heard while you're in Orange and we'll bring you over from the court and the only alcohol you'll get at the jail will be whatever you all make? Do you want that?
No.
So when's the last time you had an alcoholic drink?
That's fine.
All right, State.
State's an agreement that continue the individual, but we're asking for minimum 60 days of weekly UAs.
Okay.
And to continue with the ignition and lock portion on.
All right, so I'm going to do the ignition interlock. I am going to do and I'm going to do sober meetings, 90 meetings in 90 days. And I'm going to do UAs. Is the only thing you've been doing is drinking alcohol, or is there marijuana or any other thing else involved?
I have smoked before, but just yes, ma'am, I did smoke, but I don't smoke anymore. So I smoked recently, but I don't smoke anymore.
All right, so here's the thing. You need to act like you're in felony court, you understand? Because you could be at the Bexar County Jail, and let me just tell you when your case, excuse me, take your feet off the furniture. You're not at your house. You could, and do you just have socks on? Does he have his shoes on? Yeah, keep your feet in your shoes, okay? Nobody wants to smell your feet. All right. So we're going to do UAs, waive fees. And if you come back here, what could potentially happen to you is I could remand you without bond. In which case you'll be at the Bexar County Jail and there are other cases scheduled for trial before yours. So you will probably be going to trial maybe on this case for 6 months, maybe. And that's if your attorney says they're ready and they received all the discovery. Do you understand? Do not come back here for this. If you have an issue with alcohol, which it appears that you do, just ask them, hey, I have a problem with alcohol. Could you please recommend me for outpatient treatment? They'll do it. And anything that you do to help yourself not committing any offenses, I'm sure the state would take that into consideration in whatever they would offer. You understand? All right, Ms. Ferguson, on Edgar Alcantar Salazar, when is this set? All right, can you give him a reset for him? All right, thank you. We'll see you on April 11th.
Judge, you'll ring that through pretrial services?
Yes.
Is it sober or AA?
It's sober meetings. That's what they call them now. Jesus Alonso. All right, this is supposed to be a case that the state was considering re-indicting.
Your Honor, this is action being, yeah, okay, I got it.
Right.
Sorry. I've been in talk with Amanda Brown, which is with the federal side.
Yes.
This particular, there's another set that has been taken by the feds. There has not been a decision yet that I've received from her. I've sent an email. I have not received word from her on that yet. If the feds do accept it, we would be releasing our cases at this particular point.
All right, do you know how long you anticipate?
I mean, and I figured that was coming.
Yeah.
I mean, Judge, if you could allow just 30 days, I guarantee you, I could at least say, hey, I'm not gonna, wait for them and we're gonna proceed ahead, or we're gonna dismiss this case and let the feds take it.
Okay, I'm gonna write in the file that you asked for 30 days. Ms. Ferguson, can I have a 45-day reset? So there will be no, little more time. I'll be
Thank you, Judge.
I can do May 8th.
All right, we're gonna come back on May 8th.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
And Judge, I'm sorry, what was the end?
It is Pedro Alonso.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. And are we ready on Peterson, an update on that?
Yes.
So what do you have for the court?
Judge, I spoke with Ms. Zamaron, and unfortunately, they're woefully understaffed right now, which is
Yeah.
why with COVID and health issues, but she's willing to try and staff it and see if they can get him in there.
Okay, so can we do a pre-staffing? Let them know if they accept Mr. Peterson,
Mhm.
then state,
Yes, Judge.
if felony drug court accepts Mr. Peterson, then I'll know that there's a placement for him, because everyone, I'm sure you know what my concern is. So they're going to staff Mr. Peterson, and then we'll come back on a different date here, and I have an idea of what to do with them. But let them know that if they staff him and accept him, that will make my decision much easier.
Okay.
All right, so probation on Mr. Peterson. Can you give me a referral for felony drug court?
Yes, and then they would schedule a date.
Yes.
And on the referral, Judge, you just want to write, this is the one that Will called about, so she'll flag it.
Okay. And can you write on there, this is the one that Will Brooks called about? All right, and how long do you think before we know something, Mr. Brooks? If I give you all a 3-week reset?
They do staffings on Wednesday afternoon. I think 3 weeks should cover it.
All right.
Today's Thursday, so it can't be till next week till they consider it, bring him in, staff it. So they need at least 2 if it were
2
rocket
weeks.
quick, if it were rocket fast.
All right, so what we'll do is I'll bring this back. Norma, can we bring this back on? Do you think April 4th, maybe they would have some information?
Probably the week after that, Judge.
I would think it
My
might take-
understanding is that it's 2 Thursdays after this Thursday.
So you're thinking the week of April 10th?
I would think that that's going to be the earliest, Judge, given the logistics of what it takes to staff him and then talk about him and staffing.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, what day on April 10th?
I think April 13th.
All right, we'll do April 13th. Mr. Peterson, here's the thing about this.
Yes, sir.
It's on you and your attorney. He is not to miss any calls or appointments with felony drug court. If he does, I'm not resetting this because somebody missed an appointment without good cause. Of course, if he's in the hospital hooked up, or like on the soap operas in a coma or something, then of course I'll consider that. But otherwise, he can't miss any appointments.
Understood, Judge. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Ferguson will give you a reset form.
Thank you. Judge.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Yes. Yes,
I was here on this, I'm here on Mr. Victor Garcia.
that's coming up next.
Oh, okay. Judge.
Yeah. Victor Garcia.
Present ready, Your Honor.
All right, where are we on the evaluation?
I haven't received any information, Judge.
It hasn't been that long. I know they have a lot of evaluations before him. Ms. Ferguson, can I have a 30-day reset on Mr. Victor Garcia? All right, so we're going to do April 17th.
Thank you, Judge.
And the evaluation has been filed, counsel,
Yes,
the request.
yes, Judge.
All right, so April 17th for evaluation. Thank you, Mr. Garcia.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you.
Judge, if I can-
Yes.
On the, you had asked, you had given them 45 days, May 8th, I'll be out of town. Can we do the Monday before, the Monday after? And I confirmed with the state, this is
Oh, just let Ms. Ferguson know. Ms. Ferguson, can you write that in the file?
We can change it one Monday.
Oh, yeah, just speak to with Ms. Ferguson. David Vietti. Vietti. Good morning. Court is calling 2022 CR 4505, State of Texas versus David Anthony Vietti. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Jason Deerhand, Your Honor.
Defense?
Eric DeWalton, I represent Mr. Vietti.
Are you Mr. Vietti? All right, we're here for sentencing. You entered a plea on December 14th. I don't know why we're just hearing this from December 14th, but okay. According to the plea bargain agreement, punishments be assessed at 8 years in the prison. The state opposes your application for deferred adjudication. The state is recommending community supervision. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report?
We have, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor. No, Your Honor.
Any witnesses?
Not from the state, Your Honor. I have one, and for the interest of justice, just to let you know that his mother, the alleged complaining witness, is out in the hall. You changed a no contact order to a no harmful or injurious contact order, but they couldn't live together. He has continued to abide by that. His sister is also here helping him through, but I'd like to call Mr. Michael Prince.
All right, Mr. Prin. I know him very well.
Thank you, Your Honor. And
Sure.
he came out of nowhere.
Sure.
Angel in disguise.
Good morning. It's like I've just seen you today. Yeah. You're still under oath. Could you state your name for the record?
Michael Prim.
All right. And Mr. Vietti, do you waive any confidentiality that Mr. Prim may have?
What do you mean? Yes.
Do you waive it so he can talk to me about any issues regarding you?
Yes, sir.
All right. Defense?
Mr. Prim, my name is Eric DeWalton. We met today, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I asked you if you'd like to testify, and you got a little nervous, right?
Yes, I
Said you
did.
couldn't testify, but you did want to speak on David Vietti's behalf.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that
Okay.
is called testifying. So I'm going to ask you a
yes,
few
sir.
questions. I just don't want to scare you. Can you tell the court your title and your job description?
All right. And counsel, I can tell you, I already know his title, job
Right.
description and what he's
Okay.
with. So introduction not necessary unless you
necessary.
just would like to do
Thank you,
it.
Your Honor. Mr. Prim, how long have you known David Vietti?
About 2 months, but he's been receiving services since 2018, I believe.
Okay,
Yeah.
and are you aware that he is charged with arson of a habitation? And I know you don't know the facts of the case, but we kind of talked about what had transpired. It was his mother's house in a pillow,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay, but he also served 8 months before his family bonded him out, and we approached and entered the plea before today.
Mhm.
Okay, so your relationship has really come in with Mr. Vietti after he took this plea.
Yes.
Can you, and I'm sorry, that's everybody's.
Oh, yeah, that's everybody's there.
Can you tell the court his reaction or transition or his progress with you and what all he's doing?
But
Please.
I'm sorry, just one moment. Even though I know that's background noise for people, I always look at it because sometimes we're off the record. Sometimes it's a child abducted. They may be in this courtroom right now. We're just ignoring the text message. So I always like to look and see. Okay. All right.
So, yeah, he is currently receiving services and he's participating in his recovery. We're currently, working on, assisting him with, receiving his ID, through the Hope team and housing as well, trying to, get him to where he's, stable and is living on his own. And he has been meeting with us regularly. And as far as progress, you know,
Slow.
yeah, it's not like just snap your fingers.
But you're saying he's only been
he's
with you for
working
2
with us.
months.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me ask you a few questions. Are you aware that he's currently living with his sister?
Yes,
Okay, and have you visited that location?
yes. sir.
Okay, and do you think it is a good, stable location for him?
Yes.
Okay, and is there someone, you had mentioned Tammy, a field nurse, that is going out to help him administer his injections for
Yes.
bipolar and his other mental issues?
Yes, sir.
So you do know her, she's part of y'all's team, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Have you, in the last 2 months, I know it's hard to say he's made leaps and bounds of progress, but do you think he's made progress?
Definitely, definitely, yes. Yeah, it's like night and day as far as in some areas, like he's more stable where we can actually work on housing, work on, you know, trying to help him find a job. But when we first encountered him, he was so symptomatic that we couldn't get anywhere with him. But yeah, he's making progress where he needs to, but you know, everything else takes a long time, you know.
Mr. Prim, I greatly appreciate your testimony today. I'll pass the
Okay.
witness.
Thank you.
Any questions?
No questions.
How often are you seeing him at his place of residence?
Well, there's someone that goes out there at least twice a week. And there's 5 case managers. So I think the last time he was on my caseload was about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
But the nurse comes out, I think, at least once a week to do med training, and then he gets his injection once a month.
And will you be able to, when probation goes over his conditions, will you be able to sit with him and make sure that probation knows who his case manager is?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And then, of course, he will sign a release. Will you be able to let probation knows, one, if there are any issues at the household when you all visit?
Mhm.
And you're doing UAs for him as well?
Yes,
And if you can let probation know the results of those UAs?
yes, ma'am.
All right. Is there anything else that I need to know?
No, but I think David has a bright future, and you know, I don't like to see him cry. He's a good guy, you know, and we're gonna, as long as he wants to do better, we'll be there for him to help him so he can become stable and, you know, have his own place to stay. And he's, you know, active in his own recovery. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Bye.
All right, here's my question. With regards to his mother, so it's no harmful or injurious contact. Is that what's been happening or no? No contact?
Your Honor, in the PSI, she gave a statement, and in her statement, she claims she believes David's the victim, not her. It was a pillow in her house, and
But here's my question. With regards to his mom, Elizabeth Vietti,
Yeah.
is it currently no harmful or injurious contact?
it's currently no harmful or injurious contact, but he's not allowed to stay with her. You made that clear.
All right, so I'm going to keep that you're not allowed to stay with her. Once you have proven yourself on probation out of this court, then that may be changed. So whether or not you're allowed to stay with her, that is completely up to you. You understand?
Okay.
So if you do well,
Yes,
your attorney then can come to the court and the court will make a decision on that. Do you understand?
yes, ma'am.
Does anybody want to speak on the opposition to deferred, or you want the court to just make the decision?
The court can make the decision.
All right, the court is going to sentence you to 8 years deferred adjudication. There's $1,000 fine that will be probated. You're going to be on the MIC caseload. There's going to be continued services through Christus. There's going to be field visits, probation. There'll be field visits with you once a month. If Christus reports any issues with the location that they're visiting, or if Christus stopped during their visitation, because they're saying they're doing it twice a week, maybe. But I do want probation to at least go out there and see what the living conditions are and how he's doing. There's going to be regular UAs. And also probation, you can look at the UAs that Christus is doing. Also, they'll give Mr. Vietti, you're going to have to give a release on that. Are you employed?
Oh, no, ma'am, not at the moment.
All right, is there a reason?
No, there's not a reason, but I am gonna work on it. With Crystal Counseling.
All right, there's going to be proof of employment within 45 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. There's going to be regular reporting to probation. And probation, if you want to count the contact that Christus is making, you can count that as a reporting. But again, I want probation to at least have gone out at least once. There's to be 200 hours community service restitution. 40 of those hours will be waived if you provide proof of the COVID vaccination. The court is not requiring you to get that, but if you have it with the vaccination and booster, the court will deduct 40 hours of your community service supervision. Okay. Probation, is there anything else that he needs? All right, and with regards to restitution to Elizabeth Vietti, is she asking for restitution?
She is not, Your Honor. The house was sold. Compliance wanted it updated and they didn't, the house has been sold. And it was supposed to go to David Vietti.
All right, probation, if you can note in the file that there is no restitution that Ms. Vietti is requesting. All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right to Appeal. Did you review that with your go around? I don't know why people try to reach through it. You won't make it. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
We signed this last time.
There's Kleenex for your client, counsel. Don't go through the rope. All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Vietti, it's very important that you stay in contact with probation, that you stay in contact with your case manager. Do not fall off the face of the earth, because what will end up happening is a motion to revoke will be filed. Do you understand? If there is an issue in this court, communication is key. Let your probation know. If there's something else you need, let your probation officer know. If for any reason they're not being receptive or you think they're not listening, you can come to court. I'm here Monday through Friday. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Good luck to you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you
You're
for all
welcome.
your consideration, Judge. May we be excused?
Yes. Well, he needs to.
Yes, ma'am.
Sergio Olvera. Counsel, where are we on PTD?
Your Honor, I checked again with, we submitted his contract, the executed contract on March 7th at 6:42 PM. I emailed them again this morning at 5:15 PM and asked where he stands. I did ask Mr. Oveda if he's heard from pretrial services, and I gave him the phone number to contact them himself or go over there and do orientation to get it finished up.
So this will be the last setting that I give you all for PTD. Ms. Ferguson, what date?
You want 30 days?
Yes.
It would be the 17th.
All right, April 17th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right,
Thank you.
and you were late. Don't be
Yes,
late
ma'am.
for
I'm
court
aware of
anymore.
that, and I won't be late.
All
He
right,
did message our office. He got into a minor accident.
thank you.
Thank you.
Dilda Thanasuk. Court is calling 2023 CR 0562A, State of Texas versus Dilda Thanasuk. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Jason Garrett, Your Honor.
Defense
Greg Van Cleve.
and probation. This is an application. Are you Theta Reyes?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
Yes, I did.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Showing you what's entitled application for community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Showing you the true bill of indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, we do.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, Your Honor. We are waiving count 1 and proceeding on count 2 alone.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Showing you what's entitled court admonishments and defendants waivers and affidavit of admonitions. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand, you're charged with possession of a controlled substance penalty group 1, 4 grams to 200 grams. That's a second-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand? Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent? Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights? Did you intend to give up those rights and enter a plea in this case? Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, she has.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
Yes.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes.
Has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea? Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea? Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 10 years in the prison. There's a $2,500 fine. State recommends community supervision. They will take in consideration 2022 CR 2520, 659-482, 659-483. And there's to be restitution of $57 to the lab for testing. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense?
Well, it was 10/10. That wasn't.
That's the
I know.
plea. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes.
State, is that the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
Showing you paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand? Counsel, are there any such motions?
No.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. State is requesting that your term of community supervision be for 10 years. There be a TAP evaluation and 200 hours community service restitution. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offense as charged, how do you plea and count 2 guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
I can't hear you. You're whispering. All right. State, any evidence to support the defendant's plea?
Yes, Your Honor. State Exhibit number 1 with all of its attachments.
Any objections? Mr. Gerhan? Any objections?
No, Your Honor.
All right, State, you may have a seat. I know you're conferring. Showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent? Did you understand that today the state would be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand? Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments. Court has reviewed the same. Court is finding there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty and the court will find you guilty. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
Yes.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, in review of the past couple sentences that you've done, you have ordered that the people could not maintain their, I guess, profession as a healthcare provider. And Ms. Luke has been a healthcare provider for in excess of a decade. And
No, she's not going to be allowed to be a home healthcare provider. She's not going to be able to work with minors.
is that for the balance of the term?
Yes. I don't allow that because people who have felony convictions should not be working with vulnerable persons. And I consider children, the elderly, and other people with special needs, I consider those vulnerable people. Although at the same time, I think they can do everything that we can do, probably better. But I see my role as to protect people and let them know, you know, this is the person who's working with you, because many times people will hire people to work as in daycares at, you know, as a home healthcare provider. they never tell the person that they're being a care provider for, hey, did you know that this person is on felony probation for drugs? Did you know that this person is on felony probation for theft? So I don't allow that.
Yes, sir.
All right, anything else?
There you go.
All right. Who is John Stephen Meyer to you?
Friend,
All right. Do you have any children?
yes,
What are their ages?
he's 10,
I'm sorry?
10,
And where's the 10-year-old?
Mississippi,
With whom?
his father.
Why do you not have your child?
We're going through separation. He came here to visit and he took him. My lawyer at the time told me not to let them be alone because when he takes them out of Texas state line, there's nothing I can do about it. And that's exactly what I did. I left him alone and he took him.
Okay. Well, you know what I would always tell my clients, even when I represented mothers, it's not just your child, it's everybody's child. And when I say everybody, it's the other parent's child as well. So if you can take a child across state lines, that's your biological child, then maybe the father can take the child off across state lines. But there's always legal ways to resolve that issue.
But she had not advised me.
Okay.
So we could probably look at it.
All right. Court is going to sentence you to 10 years prison, suspended and probated for 10 years. There's a $2,500 fine that will be probated. There's to be proof of employment within 30 days of release. There's to be no employment as a home healthcare provider or with minors. There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. Do you have any drug issues? Have you used drugs?
Yes,
What? Meth?
yes.
How often have you been using meth before you came to the Bexar County Jail?
Like 6 months, wasn't even long.
So, I mean, how often?
Oh, how often? Not like on the weekends, it was on the weekend.
All right, people always say that. It's like when people have DWIs, how many beers did you have? Everybody always has a couple. Here's the thing, if you don't think you need help with a drug problem, if you end up testing positive, I'm going to write down in this file that you said, nope, listen to me. I'm going to write down on this docketing sheet that you told me you didn't need any help with any drug issue. So when you come to court, if you come back here and it's a positive UA, I don't want to hear that nobody offered you help. You understand? So do you need help with a drug issue? All right. I'm going to want the UA hotline, and she needs to be tested at least once a week, random. There's going to be 200 hours of community service restitution. 40 of those hours will be waived if you provide proof of the COVID vaccination. Court is not requiring you to do that, but if you do, 40 of those hours will be waived. I'm going to want parenting classes. I'm going to want regular reporting by Zoom or in person, field visits 1 time per month until further notice. There's to be no contact with John Stephen Meyer, M-E-Y-E-R. Probation, is there any, take in consideration County Court now cause number 659-482, 659-483. Felony cause number 2022 CR 2520. Probation, is there anything else she needs? Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful? Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes.
Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, in this court, if you're going to be on probation, communication with your probation officer is key. If there's something that you feel that you need, ask your probation officer. If you feel like they are not addressing the issue, you can always come into court. Okay, thank you. All right, the court is calling Hannah Smith. Who's here on Hannah Smith? Yes. All right, what's happening with this case?
On this case, Your Honor, I've already conferred with Jason Jorgens.
Mhm.
Monica Godetto is the attorney of record. Monica has had opportunity to convey the offer.
Mhm.
Today is a plea deadline. We have discovered that we've been showing Ms. Smith that Monica has had trouble. She wants 1 week to extend the plea deadline to the 30th. She's gonna go to the. But because they put the barricade up, attorneys have had to wait sometimes 3 hours for an escort to go to do the barrier and to annex. We're just asking 1 week to recall it.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can you recall this for next week? What date?
The 30th, please.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll see you back on the 30th. If there's an issue at the jail with visitation, just let the court know.
Yes, Judge.
Yes. All right, Christopher Davis. Norma, is he here or no? Christopher Davis. This is one where the attorney is ill. Oh, he's in custody. All right, Mr. Davis, your attorney is ill, so we're going to recall your case, okay? What date, Ms. Ferguson?
28th.
All right, we're going to bring you back on March 28th, okay? All right, thank you. Jessica Gonzalez, are you here on Verjus?
She's there on 2 cases, Judge. I
Okay.
put them in a rubber band again.
All right, Mr. Verjus, if you'll come forward. All right, today is Mr. Verjus' plea deadline date. Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you for some reason.
Can you not hear me now? I'm connected.
All right, could you speak now?
Hello?
Yes, okay. Plea deadline date on Verjus.
Yes, Your Honor. I spoke to Isaiah yesterday and he did relay to me that he is going to be rejecting the state's plea offer. So we would like this case set for trial.
All right, how long do you anticipate this trial to last?
4 days.
All right, Miss, any videos? 13 hours? No?
Not 13 hours.
Okay. All right, Ms. Ferguson, on Verjus, I need a plea, I need a jury trial date, please.
I can do May 8th.
All right, your jury trial date is going to be May 8th. The
Your
court will
Honor.
not yes,
Yes, I have a vacation letter on file for that week. I'll be in Tennessee.
enjoy.
It was supposed to be a post-surgery vacation that is now pre-surgery, I guess.
Oh, all right, what date, Ms. Ferguson?
Can do, May 23rd.
All right, it'll be May 23rd.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Ms. Ferguson will give you a reset form and then you're excused.
Thank you.
Let me see what page he is on.
I'm gonna recall, Judge.
All right, thank you. All right, and then we have Denver Stewart. And all your clients are dressed appropriately for court, Ms. Gonzalez.
I'm very proud of them. Thank you, Jen.
All right. All right, state on this case, you were tender offer today and there's an issue with CPS records.
Yes, Your Honor, we are following up on those CPS records. We have not received those, and because of that, Judge, we are unable to tender an offer today.
When do you anticipate having the CPS records?
Your Honor, I know right now they are backlogged, but we have had that request out for some time now, so I'm expecting within the next 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks.
All right, Ms. Ferguson. On Mr. Allen, if I could have Denver Stewart, can I have a 45-day reset? And this will be the last date for discovery.
We can do May 15th.
Are you going to be here May 15th?
I believe that's the week after. I'm trying to get back to my calendar. Yes, Your Honor, I'll be back on May 15th.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, we'll give you a reset form. We'll see you on May 15th.
Thank you.
Your Honor, there's actually one other matter to bring up with Denver Stewart.
Yes.
I have filed a motion to amend his bond conditions. I sent an email to the prosecutors yesterday to see if they're going to be able to be in agreement with the motion so we can present that to the court for review.
And what is the motion concerning?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is currently on GPS monitoring. However, he's received a additional job opportunity with the employer that he's working for that would eventually possibly lead to a promotion. However, in this new project that he'd be working in, it's going to require him to stand in standing water, which would obviously put him in a dangerous position while wearing a monitoring unit. In talking to my client, it's my understanding, obviously, he'd like to be able to pursue this as he is young. He has a good job right now. He's always reported back to the court as for every setting, anytime the court asks of him.
All right, well, counsel, if you'll file that motion and if you'll be here in person, we'll take it up whenever you're available to take it up.
Right, that's why I'm asking, is I did file the motion. I filed it about a week or so ago and I'd forwarded.
We'll do that. We'll do that when you're here in person.
Okay, that's fine.
All
then.
right.
Right, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, then the next one is Michael Herrera.
Yes, Your Honor.
It's just much easier if you're here in person.
Oh, no, I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. That's fine. Now, would it be okay if I come in and get an additional setting once I do return back to the courthouse if my client's available?
Sure. Just ask Ms. Ferguson, but we're in a jury trial, so.
No, it's fine. I'm going to be out for a little while.
Okay. What is this case? Today is the plea deadline date.
Right. Your Honor, I filed a motion for competency review after our last setting.
Okay.
I did contact MagCourt yesterday, spoke to Angela. She says that both of the motions that I filed, because he also has a companion case in County Court 9, those are both been granted. He is currently on the wait list and it's about 20 people. There's a new guy that just started and contracting with them. So she's hoping that his evaluation will be scheduled soon.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can I get a 45-day reset? Well, let's put this one on the same date as the jury trial. Is that possible, Ms. Ferguson?
Yes.
All right, and that'll be May, what date?
23rd.
All right, so May 23rd should give them enough time to do their evaluation.
Thank you, Your Honor. And
right,
may I be excused.
Yes.
Can I tell him real quickly, Michael?
Yes.
You don't need to go over to County Court 9. I'm going to send them the date right now, so you're free to go home.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah.
You need to find a reset. Don't leave.
Jose Cavazos, is he here?
He is not here. He is in a halfway house in El Paso.
Okay. All right, where are we on this case?
We have filed a motion to collect a DNA sample from my client, Mr.
I know we've been doing this since June
Right. And
of
so,
2022.
right. And so last time we were here, we had a hearing on whether or not we were actually going to actually do that or not,
Mhm.
because there are some consequences for my client if he does that. In other words, it goes into CODIS and we had to find out if that was something that we would agree to do. Because it's not something that could actually be compelled by the state or the board. It's kind of an agreement thing. And so we talked about it. I've talked with my client and he's in agreement to do it. He's like, I don't have anything worry about.
All right, so where are we on that?
We have filed a motion. The motion has been accepted and we need a signature on that so that we can get the buck plot collected and get it submitted to the Bear County.
All right, hasn't this already been signed by the court?
No,
No, Judge, not this one. It's an agreed motion. It was filed or was accepted this morning, so I believe the order just needs to be signed for the buckle.
All right, Carol. All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Ferguson, can we recall Mr. Cavazos in 45 days, please?
the problem with this case, Judge, is that when they did the DNA.
On to what?
Sorry.
Oh, it's a 2010 CR 5796.
We'd originally done the DNA testing, which finally got completed. There's no comparison. There was no DNA from the client. There's no DNA from blood victim. So they're like, well, we don't know what's what. And so that's why we're here doing this now.
Okay.
So.
All right. Is there an issue with the person?
That was the next of kin for Hannah Smith, Judge. She was just a little emotional because we said the plea deadline was today and she thought we'd know one
Oh,
way or the other.
did you want me to explain to her why it was reset?
I already talked to her.
Okay.
I let them know. She just got a little emotional.
Okay. All right. No problem. All right. So what date, Ms. Ferguson?
I'm sorry,
45 days.
we can do, the 8th of May.
All right. We'll come back on May 8th. And Caroline is going to print out the motion for me and I'll sign it and you can get a copy of it.
Judge, thank you.
You're welcome.
Be excused.
Yes. And counsel, if you can get information, is your client in custody still or no?
He's in a halfway house. Just got released from prison. I want to say 45 days ago.
All right, if you want, you can have your client to appear by video. That way.
I don't know that he's got the means to do it.
Okay. I'll just see.
But I'm in contact with him. I've talked to him several times since he got released. I can find out. The main thing for him right now is he's just trying to find a place to live. That's all kind of, so we gotta figure out where he's gonna be. That's what's holding things up.
Okay.
So as soon as we figure that out, then he can we'll probably get out the halfway house. But I will, actually, if I can make a copy of that order. How are we gonna route that? What's the next step here?
Who's here on Wayne Toliver?
Yeah.
And probation, this is no application. Court is calling 2022 CR 10641, State of Texas versus Wayne Toliver. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
David Cruz on behalf of the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
Patrick Valentine on behalf of Mr. Toliver.
Are you Mr. Toliver?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery in this case and did you review it with your client?
We have your.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Toliver, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review this with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, do you weigh the reading of the indictment?
We do, Judge.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Your Honor, we're waiving the repeat enhancement allegation, Your Honor.
No objection.
All right. All right, I don't know why somebody explain to me why on the trial rights to appeal somebody checked.
Oh, I'm sorry, Judge. Some courts prefer it. I didn't mean
No.
to step into your prerogative.
All right. So you're proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Your Honor, with the exception that we'd be waiving the repeater.
Any objection?
No objection.
Mr. Toliver, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you're charged with driving while intoxicated, third or more?
Yes, Your Honor.
The range of punishment for that offense is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you have a plea bargaining agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargaining agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, Your
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
No, Your Honor.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
You understand?
Okay. You understand your rights in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Do you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you're giving up those rights?
Oh, yes, Your Honor.
Do you want to give up those rights and enter into a plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do, Your Honor.
You believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I do, Your Honor.
Mr. Toliver, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea bargain agreement, punishments be assessed at a cap of 6 years in the prison, and there are no applications. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, is that the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty, Your Honor.
State any evidence?
Your Honor, at this time, the state introduces state's exhibit number 1 and all of its attachments.
No objection.
All right, state, you can continue to confer. Showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, the court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. After reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will find you guilty. State, I'm sorry, not state, probation.
Yes, sir.
On this case, I'm going to need a PSI, TAP evaluation, and referral to felony drug court. Is there anything else from either side?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we're going to come back on May 4th at 9 a.m. And at that time, the court will make a decision on your punishment based upon the PSI report and any other information I receive.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the floor.
And we are resting, and anything that is not taken care of by 12:30, it will be recalled. Efron Soto. Right, this one.
Might bring the court up to speed on it.
Yes.
Judge, we did the plea before Judge Angelini.
Mhm.
And it was for him to be able to have during the term of probation to pay restitution, but Judge Angelini said he wanted it all paid up front. We have all the monies to pay up front.
Mhm.
So that's where we are on it.
Okay, are you all ready to proceed with sentencing then?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, the court is calling 2021 CR 11632, State of Texas versus Efron Martinez-Soto. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state
Debbie Cruz on behalf of the state, Your Honor.
defense?
A little for defendant.
All right, and are you Mr. Soto?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and according to the plea bargain agreement, the restitution is for $2,000. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, the court will follow your agreement, sentence you to 3 years deferred adjudication. There's $1,000 fine to be probated. Restitution of $2,000 to Catherine Muras, Muras, is to be paid today,
Yes, sir.
March 23rd. There's to be no contact with Catherine Muras. 150 hours community service restitution. Do you have any children?
Yes.
What are their ages?
From 13 and 7.
Do they live with you?
Yes.
All right, there's going to be 150 hours of community service restitution. 40 of those hours will be waived if you provide proof of the COVID vaccination. The court is not requiring you to have that, but if you do, 40 hours will be waived. I'm going to ask for parenting classes. Once that's completed, the remaining of your community service hours will be waived. There's to be the anti-theft course. Regular reporting to probation by Zoom or in person. Regular UAs. I'm going to want field visits 1 time per month for 3 months. Probation, if you want to count his field visits as reporting, you can. If there are no issues after 3 months, probation, you can resume field visits as you deem appropriate. Proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home healthcare provider or with minors. Probation, is there anything else he needs?
Good.
Thank you. Yes.
One other matter, I was conferring with Jason Garahan about this particular case and indicated he didn't have any objection if I asked, given that he paid all the restitution up front, a shorter term of the deferred adjudication, given the restitution was all paid up.
Well, I mean, once he completes everything, if he completes everything, the court will consider early termination.
Thank you. Second thing, Your Honor, I want the court to understand how he found himself in this situation. He's a contractor. He had been doing some work for this young lady's father.
Mhm.
She had hired him to do some roofing work. He subcontracted some other roofers and they disappeared with the money. He had been communicating with the father, had already paid up about 1,800. When the case was brought, it was a balance of 2,000. So that's how he found himself in this situation.
Okay.
He's implementing some new business practices.
Oh, yes. You know, people just want to jump in and start a business, but you got to know who you're hiring and stay on top of everything.
Well, and the crazy thing is, he said he's used this roofer in the past, like for 5 years.
5 years.
Oh.
And he disappeared
They
with the money.
disappeared.
All
That's
right.
how he found himself in this.
Okay, you want to go around?
Yes, Your Honor.
That's, no, but everybody thinks that they're stretched from the,
Actually, I think I could have pulled it off.
you think
but-
you could have? Okay, we're going to try that. All right, I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes.
All right, because this is plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? All right, good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. All right, Angel Gonzalez, is he in custody?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, when are we recalling this?
She said she'll be in trial. He's still making, he's
Okay.
out there now. So I don't know if you want me to
Do 3 weeks, what day?
we can do the 10th.
All right. All right, your attorney is in a capital murder jury trial, so they can't be here, can't be in 2 places at the same time. So we're gonna bring you back on April 10th, okay? Yes. You'll have to do that through your attorney. All right, thank you. Who's here on Marie and Osa? All right, thank you. Court is calling 2020 CR 2987 State of Texas versus Marie Hinojosa. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Jason Garrett, Your Honor.
Defense?
She also states in covering for Joanne de Hoyos, and Ms. Hinojosa, would you give this judge permission for me to do the plea in place of Ms. de Hoyos?
Yes.
All right, I'm showing you what's entitled motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision and First Amendment motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same Marie Angelica Hinojosa who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2020 CR 2987 for the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1 gram to 4 grams on March 7, 2022 for a term of 2 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor. Violated condition number 1, on or about the 11th day of February 2023 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant Maria Angelica Hinojosa committed the offense of possession of controlled substance, penalty group 1 gram to 4 gram in violation of condition number 1.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
State.
We'll waive the remaining violated conditions, Your Honor.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 1, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 1?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find violation of condition number 1 true. Is there an agreement?
Yes, there is an agreement, Your Honor. It is to continue the individual on her probation and to alter an amend to include SATIF with aftercare. And the state will take into consideration that new number 1 that she has pled to, and that would be night bag number 699162, Your Honor.
All right, are you asking the court to follow this plea bargain agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you waiving your right to appeal?
Ma'am.
All right, I'll deny the motion. Alternate amend conditions to include a referral to SATA. She's to remain in custody until transferred to SATA, and I'm extending your probation for 2 years. Is there anything else from either side?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing from defense.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Francisco Aguilar. And this case is going to require PSI. Court is calling 2022 CR 7321 State of Texas versus. Well, no, just 1 second. We're here for sentencing. Thank you. I love my staff. You guys are so awesome. All right, court is calling, your client needs to be in the center. Court is calling 2022, and counsel, you over here. Court is calling 2022 CR 7321 State of Texas versus Francisco Carlos Aguilar. I have parties announced for the record for the state. Defense.
Hector Garza Jr.
And are you Mr. Aguilar?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you entered a plea of no contest in January. This was set for today for a PSI. According to the plea bargaining agreement, the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of assault bodily injury as a Class A misdemeanor. They're recommending deferred adjudication. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report?
No, Your Honor.
I have, Judge.
All right. Defense, do you have any objections to the PSI report?
You know what, Judge, I don't have objections, I guess, to how they carried it out, but I do take a huge opposition to the suggestions that are made from probation. I rarely question too much of what they do, but they got this one way wrong, if I'm reading this correctly.
All right. Are you employed?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you do?
I'm an installation contractor and I have my own business.
Okay. All right, the court will follow your agreement. The court is going to sentence you to $250. That will be probated. The court is going to sentence you to 1 year's deferred adjudication. 60 hours of community service restitution. Do you have any children?
Yes, ma'am.
What are their ages?
My youngest is 10, 16, 17, and my oldest is 24.
All right. I'm going to ask for parenting classes. Once you complete the parenting classes, the community service hours will be deemed to be completed.
Yes, ma'am.
There's to be no contact with Lev, L-E-V, O'Kelly, O-K-E-L-L-E-Y, anger management course, proof of employment within 15 days, no employment as a home health care provider or with minors, regular UAs, regular reporting by Zoom or in person. Probation, I'm going to want one field visit. If everything looks okay with the field visit, then you don't need to do any more field visits. And if you want to count that first field visit as his first reporting, you can. Probation, is there anything else he needs? Is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful?
I submitted my proof of employment to
Probation.
yes, ma'am, during my interview.
All right, well, just let them know, okay? Do you need anything else from the court?
Your Honor, if I may, Judge, I do have one request potentially. Judge, this situation, the case itself was a fight between the victim and a third party, another cousin, if you will. Frank stepped out to stop the altercation and was accused of hitting the victim. Against my recommendation of taking this case to trial because family members would have had to been brought in, Frank decided to move forward with the plea bargain because he just wanted this done and not involve family violence. I've actually known Frank since I started my legal career 18 years ago. The first office that I officed at was directly behind a Wendy's restaurant that Frank was managing in 2005, and I've known him since.
So what are you asking for, counsel?
The anger management class, Judge, I believe in this case is excessive. I would ask potentially that the court hold it in abeyance. If another situation arises, then by all means have him completed. But I really feel that that is not going to happen here. And I just feel that it's overkill given the situation and the true facts of the case.
All right, the court is keeping in place the anger management. Is there anything else?
That was the only thing.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, compliance hearings. Could I see Hillary Stillman? Hillary Stillman. Gilbert Rodriguez. Ah, have you already sent him back?
No, we haven't.
Oh, can you bring him out? All right, come forward, please. All right, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine.
All right, so here's the thing, probation is asking if I want the alcohol monitoring device removed because you satisfied the condition. I will only remove that or consider removing it if you have a month where there are no skip tests. You understand? I understand that it's been there for a while, but I can't have you skipping tests. So I'll have them resubmit this probation on Gilbert Rodriguez Jr. If you can resubmit the request for removal of the scram device in 1 month, but only submit it if he has no skip tests. If he has skip tests, then that's on you. So whether or not it's removed depends 100% on your actions. You understand? You have any questions about anything?
Also about my drug page.
I'm sorry, what?
My drug page.
All right. Come back in a month with no skip tests or any of that. So who is it up to whether or not all this is removed? So if you do that, it'll be removed in 1 month. They'll send me the notification and we'll be there, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so just wait for probation and they will speak with you, okay?
All right,
All right, thank you. Thanks for being patient.
That's fine.
Okay, what's this one? Claudia Angel Navarro. Oh, and Diane, you can go ahead and take your lunch break.
Yeah.
All right. You need to complete your community service hours. So what are you doing to make that happen?
I'm trying to do my GED, but I work a lot. Sometimes I do overnight, so full doubles really doesn't give me enough time to sleep.
I'm sorry.
It doesn't really give me enough time to sleep.
I mean, I understand, and I understand your predicament, but the thing is you're on deferred adjudication for robbery. And the court sets conditions. Now, if you say, hey, I need more time, what's going to end up happening is you're going to get extended. So, so I tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend it. Probation on Claudia Navarro, we're going to extend it for 6 months. If you complete everything, then your attorney or you can always come and or probation will let me know that you've completed everything. And they'll say, hey, would you be willing to let her off of probation early? So all of that is completely up to you. You understand? All right, thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is there any way that I can do like the other 100 hours with the GED program?
I'm sorry, if you can what?
The GED program,
What are you asking?
the other 100 hours.
If you complete your GED, the court will waive the community service hours, but it has to be completed, okay?
Oh,
all right. Thank you. Yes. All right, Mr. Stillman? Yes. Oh, no problem. All right, let me see what's going on with your case. Why is he in custody? Why are you in custody?
It was for obstructing a roadway.
So he pled true to violation of condition number 1, AA, TAP, UAs in 2 weeks. Oh, this is from Judge Skinner.
Yes, ma'am.
3 months followed by random. Oh, so on this one, has the TAP evaluation been completed?
Yes, sir. The preliminary report was done and they're recommending C. But I don't have a full report scanned into.
Okay, do you know when you'll have the report ready?
I can contact the officer to see if when it will be ready.
All right, and who was the attorney who handled the motion to revoke? All right, so what we're gonna do is, we're gonna reset this because they're saying, your TAP recommendation, they're telling me there's a request for safety and you probably should have an attorney present for that, okay? So Norma, reset this and have Todd Lesser come back.
When do you want me to bring him back?
Probation, you think 2 weeks is enough time?
Yes.
In 2 weeks, what date?
April 6th.
All right, we're gonna come back on April 6th, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Genevieve Pinter. All right, Ms. Pinter. The state is in agreement to your probation being terminated. But this is what I want to do. I'm gonna have probation on this early termination for Ms. Pinter. If you'll resubmit this at the beginning of May, and you can put it down for the first week in May. Probation is gonna resubmit this in May. And then at that time, I'll make my decision for you on your early termination. I personally don't believe you've been on long enough. I understand that sometimes when people get on probation, they complete things as quickly as possible. But I want to make sure that everybody internalizes everything so we don't come back here again for issues. You understand?
Yes.
So make sure that you stay on the straight and narrow. And when we come back, probation, I want it set during the week because I'm gonna want her back here. So what date, Miss Ferguson?
You wanted in the beginning of May?
The beginning of May.
I can do May, we'll do May 4th.
All right, are you off from work on May 4th?
No, but I could request it. Today I have to. It was the last minute.
Okay, all right, so we're gonna come back on May 4th, and let me just tell you what's gonna happen on May 4th. You gotta come in here, you're not gonna have any violations, and I'm gonna ask for you to do a UA. So if that UA is positive, you're not getting terminated early. So between now and then, the May 4th date, whether or not you're taking off probation early, it's all up to you. You understand? All right, we'll see you back on May 4th.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Ms. Ferguson will give you a reset form. Who's here on Terrence Scott? All right, if you can come forward, Mr. Scott. And this is our last case. Everybody else, you'll come back on another day.
Can I give you the piece in jail?
I don't have that file. Oh, let me see. Yes, I do. All right, I'll take that one up too.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Scott, how are you doing?
All right.
Let me see what's going on. When are you going to pay your restitution?
I've been paying like every month.
Okay. Because it's $876.50. That's what I'm being told. So one thing, on probation out of this court, I require everybody to pay restitution. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So I mean, that needs to be paid. And I see where you're saying, I'll only accept the extension for 4 months, but I'm not agreeing to anything more than 4 months because I will have been on probation a long time. Here's the thing, the length of time that you're on probation is completely up to you. I understand that people have financial issues, but you got to pay your restitution. I require that. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So I am going to extend you. Is everything else going okay with you?
Yeah, just my job wanted to send me to Wisconsin, but I can't come on probation. So they because
Yeah, you can go to Wisconsin for probation. Is there a reason why, when you say go to Wisconsin, do you mean to live in Wisconsin?
no, they try to send me up there for 6 months to a year.
Okay.
So he always like, I have to get with the courts and this and that. And so that lasted about 3 or 4 days. And then they told me, never mind, and they got me at a standstill right now. So it's like,
oh, well,
I'm just trying to get out so I can, I'm an electrician and, I travel, I go places, but I'm like, stuck right now and I can't see my kids, so, I'm just doing what I gotta do to get back normal, Just tired of being here. This.
Oh, everybody always is, right?
I've been doing it a long time. I'm
Okay.
tired.
All right, so this is what we're gonna do. I am gonna extend you probation. Can you make sure that restitution is priority? So how long do you think it's gonna take you to pay off this $800.76?
I could pay off some today and I just need to know who I need to pay or do I go to probation?
Oh, probation is gonna let you know where to go. All right, so we're gonna extend you for 4 months. And if you complete everything, because I know we're extending you because of restitution, then the court will reconsider early termination. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Virgilio Balsadua? Yes.
I'm Mr. Basildua. We concurred with the state, and we have an offer that we have an agreement on, and so we'll do that as soon as we're able to.
All right, so Ms. Ferguson, when can we call this back for a plea?
Monday.
Okay. We can come back on Monday.
All right.
All right, so we'll come back on Monday for your plea.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Collins? Oh, are we actually going to be hearing this?
We were conferring at this moment, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yeah, was it set for?
Mhm.
Tested?
Yes. What I'll do is we'll recall this back for Monday, because I know you're in jury trial in here, Mr. Cox.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can you recall this back for Monday?
Yes.
All right, we'll see you on the 27th.
So.
Collins, Basildua. You can trial, he'll get a contract with you.
And Mr. Collins, we'll call you back on Monday. He can go, we'll call you back on Monday. All right, your attorney is currently in jury trial, so he'll get a chance to see you, okay?